in his throwing shoulder. And Georgetown announced first-year women's basketball coach Tasha Butts has died today at the age of 41 following a 2-year battle with breast cancer. I'm Nick Cope.
Bison Pride, everything we do.
This one's for you, Corso, wherever you are. Give me that Bison.
This is the Insiders on Bison 1660, covering the world of NDSU sports like no other.
North Dakota State advances to the round of 32.
Touchdown, Bison! My, oh my!
The Insiders are presented by Proceed. Need seed? Think Proceed. Welcome to your green and gold HQ for the Bison. The Insiders on Bison 1660 starts now. Always having a good time, but never letting it get out of hand.
I approach you from the front and kind of like, wow, this dude's pretty serious. Then I walk away and you're like, he likes to party.
From the Western Illinois one, Miller under center, 2 tight ends, 1 either side of the line, and 3 running backs. He pulls away, gives to Marshall, stumbling right side, and getting into the end zone for a touchdown. Touchdown Bison. TK Marshall with his first rushing touchdown of the season.
It's getting saucy.
Bison are going to try and punch this thing in. 2 minutes to play first quarter. 7-0 Bison. 3rd down and goal at the 1. Snap to Miller. Gives to Marshall. Running left side. Cuts into the end zone. Touchdown. Touchdown Bison. Bison 0-24. Handoff Raja Nelson. He's had a good day too. Cutting to the 35. Out to the 40. And there goes Raja. Raja at the 25, 20, 15, 10. End zone. Touchdown. Touchdown, Raja Nelson. 76 yards for the senior from Lakeville, Minnesota. And he is into the end zone for the first time this season. A huge play for the Bison, their longest play of the season.
Good for him.
On the 38 of Western, first down and 10. Snap to Morris, he blitz off the edge, picked up. Fires from a crummy pocket, tipped in the air, intercepted by the Bison. Logan Kopp once again, his second interception of the season, being mobbed by his teammates on the near side, and the Bison get it right back on a big-time Code Green takeaway.
It's getting saucy.
Line of scrimmage, Western Illinois 49, Cole Payton in at quarterback. Under center, play action, set, fires left side, caught, Stuffle inside the 25, broken tackle 15, rumbling to the end zone, touchdown! Joe Stuffle, 49-yard touchdown, catch and rumble for the big tight end. His 5th touchdown of the season, and the Bison have opened up the floodgates here at home, 34-0 against Western Illinois. And that is all she wrote here in Fargo. NDSU comes back with a dominant victory in their return to the Fargo Dome. Clock hits zeros, the final score, the Bison 52 and Western Illinois 7. An emphatic performance by the Bison as they get back in the win column and improved to 5-2 overall on the season.
Bison back on their feet again. Well done there, Andy. Nice little mashup as we get this thing going here on a Victory Monday. It is the Insiders, October 23rd, 2023. NDSU, a victor on Saturday against Western Illinois. 52-7, the final. We're breaking it down all afternoon long here on the program. 701-476-1660. Phone and text lines are open if you want to chime in. What was your reaction to the Bison's win? Do you take away anything? Are you a little more confident? Are you kind of where you were to begin with? What did you learn in the game on Saturday? We want to know what your take on it was. It was interesting. The Bison get what they needed, and that was a wash a bad taste out of their mouth, right? Needed to come up there, leave no doubt, and gain some confidence, and that's what you do when you've got the opponent, and at this rate, it was kind of a faceless opponent for the Bison as NDSU came into the game It was a Bison versus Bison type of game, able to do some nice things. Liked a lot of what we saw offensively, kind of getting back to the traditional run game, the power run game, getting under center. I think that was one of my biggest takeaways on the afternoon for NDSU, as they were able to spread the wealth, get a lot of different guys involved. And here we are, 5-2, feeling good. This feels better. This feels than
much better, yes.
Where we were at this time last week. That's for sure.
You know what it feels like? It feels like we're back on our feet again. Because you got up off the mat, you got knocked down, you're the prize fighter, the ref comes over, he's giving you the count, 10, 9, you got the 5, and you're like, okay, get up off the mat, we're on our feet again, we can fight, we can keep on going here, the fight's not done, the match, the boxing match isn't done yet, the season's not over, back on your feet, and that's what you wanted out of this one. We said it all last week. I'll even double down. That might be one of the worst teams I've ever seen in person, Western Illinois. I'll be honest. I mean, they're bad. They're very, very bad.
They were very bad.
That's just the way it is. But it was a Bison versus Bison week. You still have to go out there and do what you need to do and take care of business. There's a lot of areas the Bison did do that. I'm sure that a lot of fans will say they didn't really answer any questions in this one, and that's fair. They probably didn't.
They didn't. Yeah.
Western's not got much for you, but you still have to go out there and do it. And it felt like, hey, Trey Lance is in the building. Hunter Lipke's here. Nash Jensen. The Bison are doing what they're doing. There's 14,000 people in the stands. That was a great showing by Bison Nation. It's a big 50-50 raffle. Like there was some excitement in there, and that was needed, I think.
We got a winner on the 50-50 raffle. Has it been claimed? Have you heard anything?
Check.
We know there was a ticket announced,
there was.
just like there was the previous time.
I know I didn't win it. I can tell you that. But I have not seen I know on a hotline, we were watching it very closely, me and Chris Hansen. We were updating everyone every segment. Has it been claimed? Has it been claimed? It never had been. Somebody did comment on the post from the team makers on Facebook saying, trust me, someone will be in to claim it on Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's trust me, I won it, I'm going to come in and claim it on Monday, or if it's trust me, someone will claim it. You never know. We thought it would have been claimed the last couple of games.
Yeah, maybe that person knows who won it. Maybe they were the person who won it. Yeah, if I were claiming it, I'd be walking into the shack with a bodyguard or two. Right. I'd bring Phil with me. He would have been my bodyguard, and we would have gotten the job done there. But, yeah, 50-50 went up. What was it, 130,000, I think?
It started at 127,000.
No, but the split, the actual
split was
50
like 140 something.
Yeah.
It got to 296 or almost 297, which blew my. I was thinking, can it get to 200? And it did that before
it almost
even got to the coin toss.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was incredible. Yeah, one of the storylines of the day on Saturday was that 50-50 raffle. But as you said, Andy, yeah, you can't take away too much from this game because Western Illinois was bad. And you bid them farewell, best wishes, right? They go on to the Ohio Valley. Hopefully that move for them gives them some more level competition. But the Bison just flat out dominated, and that's what they needed to do. They took the ball first in the game.
Won the toss.
They won the toss and took the ball, which Coach Hetz had only done one other time in his career, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what he said in the post-game presser. And I liked that from the beginning. Just set the tone, start this game on your own terms, right? NDSU traditionally, you win the toss and defer. Even with some of the new timing changes, too, if you look at the breakdown and analysis of what the new rules in college football with the clock not stopping after first downs except for inside 2 minutes of each half, you're losing almost like a possession a game. So the value of that first possession almost looks a little more enticing. The Bison took it. You get down, get off to a 7-0 head start, and you go from there. Run game was good. I liked getting back to basics. Saw some more under center, power run game, some more I formation, allowing the Rams to just go out there and maul guys, right? And it was just straight dominance up front. I mean, as you would have expected against Western Illinois. It was good to see NDSU get back to just grounded pound. We saw less of some zone read stuff or RPO stuff, the quarterback run game, which had been that's what the offense was predicated on the first 6 games of the year. We saw Barika Penu get involved. We saw TK Marshall get involved. Thought those were 2 really good confidence-boosting games for those guys. They combined for 5 touchdowns across the board.
That should boost your confidence.
Yes. Yeah. And you look, too, when we talked with Coach before the game, asked him, what are you going to look for in this game? He said, we're trying to find our identity in this game. And I thought that was a good question when he said that. It's what is this Bison team's identity? I think we still don't really know through 7 games, right? What is the calling card of this team? And going into Saturday, Coach said, offensively, our identity is going to look like getting the ball to our skill guys, getting the ball to our athletes. They feel like they have them, and they were able to show that. Rajah Nelson, First time that he has made noise this season, and he made a lot of it. 76-yard rushing touchdown, longest play of the season for the Bison. Dynamic play, and you get to see a little bit of what Raja can do, right? You want to see more of it. And then you saw Eli Green as well on a jet sweep. They've been creative in trying to get those guys involved, not just in the passing game. So thought that worked out pretty well. That is a good question moving forward, is what will this Bison team's identity be? We needed to see some guys step up in the absence of Cole Wisniewski and Julian Modarsic. Both of them did not play with their respective injuries. Bison defense had a goose egg on the board until 6 minutes to go in the game, and gave up a touchdown late with the third stringers in, so you can't really fault them there. But it was what you were looking for out of Code Green. They didn't leave any doubt. Got 6 sacks, got a pass rush against, albeit statistically, the worst offensive line in Division I football. But that's what you're supposed to do, and they did it. And that's what you were looking for.
Not much else I can say.
Yep, that's about all the breakdown.
I picked 45-7, and that was pretty
You're
close.
almost there, yeah.
I was almost right on the money, so I will brag about that just quickly.
That is a good call. You're one touchdown away.
On the old Call Your Shot contest that we do every Friday on our Facebook page, Bison 1660. But they played well, and you wanted them to. I did like getting the ball right away and kind of being that aggressor. Now, the flip side of that is, you liked it because what happened? Wyndham scored. Well, also remember the very first play, holding call. Now you're 1st and 20.
Oh, it was the first 2 plays were not what you were looking for. You had a holding call, you had a drop ball, and it was like, uh-oh.
3rd and 12, a drop ball by, I think, Jake Lippy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're at 3rd and 12. You convert it, and you go down. Now you're rolling downhill, right? Now you're going to get a touchdown out of it. But the flip side of it is if you take it and don't score, then I guarantee you people will be saying, why did we take the ball when we won the coin toss? We should be deferring. It's all hindsight, right? Oh, that was a great call because it worked. Yeah, that's all calls are great when they work.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I'm saying I liked it or didn't like it. I like taking it and being the aggressor, and I think this team has a really good offense, so I don't mind it.
Yeah, no, you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't, right? It's just like you're watching Sunday Night Football last night. The Eagles going for it on 4th and 1 on their own side of the 50, running the brotherly shove.
Yeah.
And it works every time.
Like automatic.
It works every time, but like the one time it won't work, they're going to get killed on it. Sirianni's going to get killed for doing that in his own 25, but they know it can work. So, yeah, the Bison, that's the other thing, too. Last season, this team did not have much of a passing attack, and people bemoaned the fact that the offense was one-dimensional in that sense. And then this year, it's the flip side. You see a little more passing, a little more spread stuff, and you get some complaining when it comes to what's going on with this look stuff? What's going on with this look to the sideline type of thing, right? So you can't have it both ways. But the Bison were able to get the job done. You move on. You got some good things out of the defense. I thought Oscar Benson did a nice job filling in for Julian Wodarczyk, had that pass breakup that led to the interception by Logan Kopp. Yeah, terrific play. That's the undersung aspect of that play. And just saw the ball go through the net. That's what you needed to do. And now you move on from it. You look to Murray State. And for the Bison the rest of this year, it's about one game at a time. The fans and the media will look to November and see the gauntlet that's there, but you can't overlook Murray here this weekend. You got to go one at a time and continue to try and make improvements from the inside out, because that's what it's going to take for this team to get a little magic carpet ride and get a little run going here down the back half. But it was a fun game, fun to be a part of. I hope that you guys enjoyed listening. We had Trey Lance in the house. Trey Lance came on the broadcast, which was great. Hunter Lipke was in the house. He came on the broadcast. Nash Jensen was in the house. So homecoming for those 3 guys, all on their bye weeks in the NFL, the Cowboys and the Panthers. Really cool. Good to see them back, and I know that all the players who are involved with the team were happy to see them as well. And a testament to kind of the family of the Bison that you got and how the ties run deep.
We do have an update for you on the 50-50 raffle.
Here we go.
And people wanting to know this and wondering if you didn't win, is there a chance it's going to roll over again? I think we all kind of assume there's no chance. Everyone's keeping the tickets. Everyone's going to know if they won on this one for sure. From Gaming Fargo, who also kind of runs all this kind of this anything gaming-wise, said, seems we have a winner for this week's big 50-50 pot. This was yesterday. They sent this on Facebook. It will become official once we can verify and process the ticket Monday morning. More to come at that time.
Oh, wow. Somebody's life changed.
Yep.
That's awesome. Good for them.
Someone got it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Still got to claim it, though. Somebody got it the last 2 weeks, so we'll see.
Yeah. No, I was ready to go down
they
there.
know they have a winner, at least.
Yeah, I was ready. I was ready to call up Derek Lang, NDSU team makers, and be like, hey, it's me.
Yep.
I was ready. We were announcing it on the air and all that too. So, yeah, pretty fun stuff with the 50-50. We got a lot to do today. We're going to have Phil Hansen coming on at 11:30. The Hall of Famer will join us.
I will say I wanted to walk through the concourse because I know where the 50-50 raffle lines are. Just see what the lines look like, hear what people are talking about. The lines were long outside the Fargo Dome even. I think there were some people just came to tailgating just to buy a raffle ticket too. And I heard somebody said we were pooling our money together. We have $500 that we're spending on it. And I'm like, whoa, that's the biggest one I heard at least. Maybe somebody else had more, but it was like pooling money together of the neighborhood and everything like that. And I don't know, how many people they had in it, but they said 500. That's how many tickets we're buying.
Yeah, no,
$500 worth.
Well, I wonder how many. We know how big the pot was, but I wonder how many tickets were actually there. So you had a 1 in what chance to get the ticket drawn. Pretty crazy, but yeah, if you batched them and pulled it together, you had a shot at winning it. So one lucky winner supposedly. We hope that they get everything transferred
find that
smoothly.
Ticket.
Yeah, find that ticket and step up to the plate and cash it all in. Phil Hansen at 11:30. Keaton Gillogly as well. Montana State Bobcats voice. They got a big win.
Huge.
Saturday night, Big Sky After Dark on ESPN2. Stayed up and watched a good chunk of that one. They beat Sac State in Sac State and continue their run here after losing to South Dakota State. So the Bobcats, undisputed number 2 still, as they're able to ward off good competition in their conference and win a big battle of what was 2 versus 3. So we'll talk with Keaton at noon. Also get a big whip around. A huge week in college football, both at the FBS and FCS levels, and a lot of NFL stuff today. Vikings coming up tonight as well.
Crazy NFL slate. Some of the results.
Oh, dude,
it gives me hope
getting
tonight.
Wacky. Yeah,
Vikings, anything can happen.
I told you, man. They might cover.
You better believe it back there.
Yeah, Ian Longton there with the what is it? The horn, right?
Yeah, the Galler horn.
That's
Don't
what it is.
disrespect it.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Again, you're gonna have to forgive my
ignorance,
my greenness here.
Your bet of the week did hit though. You had the Colts. The Colts didn't win.
It did,
but
they got the plus 3. Yeah,
+3. You
trust me.
That one.
I was heartbroken by the way the game ended. Colts got robbed by the officiating.
Did they?
Oh yeah, they did. And I was listening to the game. I was listening because I was in here doing some stuff. I'm listening to the Colts game, and I'm jumping up and down, and we had the sack fumble initially, and then I hear, there's a flag. And ironically, it was on Browns radio, and because I was listening on satellite, and so I was stuck with the Browns call, and here we are. We give up the touchdown. I was like, okay. But then I was holding my breath for that 2-point conversion because I knew that the bet of the week hung on that, and we were able to make the stop. So your Utah call.
No. Before we get to that, we've got to settle the other one. The one between me and Ravens Lions.
Oh boy!
Where I said I'm all on the Lions, underdogs on the road, an iffy Ravens team, and all of a sudden I look and I'm like 28-0 Ravens. Ian said Ravens, so he was right.
Congrats,
I got to give him his props.
Ian.
There'll be a Jersey Mike subs brownie here for you probably later on this week.
Yeah, Andy, I'm pretty excited about that brownie. I was thinking about it all day yesterday. It was fun checking the score at halftime. I think it was like 28-0. I was like, it's already in the bag. Let's go. I told you,
worse. It was like 38-7.
I know. Lamar Jackson, man, you can get thumped by the Ravens at any given week, man.
Action Jackson.
He can also
incredible.
Look awful.
Terrible, yeah.
Another week. They're very up and down.
Oh, yeah.
Lions were due. Lions were just due.
They were due.
They were due to have
But that's
a
one of those that makes you feel like the Lions just aren't quite ready,
Yeah.
Like you're getting a lot of press. People talking about how good you are. Maybe read the clippings a little bit, and just makes you feel like, that against a really good team just didn't quite look like you're ready for the big stage.
Yeah, it happens. NFL long season. Long season. You have a clunker in there. 17 game slate. You got a clunker in there. But yeah, it was a tough look for Detroit.
Very.
And the Ravens look good too. They have some legitimacy now with that. That's a big resume building win for them. So a lot of NFL and college football to get into
but
today.
Yes, my Utah pick over USC.
You did get that.
I got that one.
You did get that.
Give me some credit.
I actually almost texted you Saturday morning when I was watching College Game Day because Herb Street was like, I don't think Utah has any firepower to win this game. Cam Rising's not playing. I think their defense is good, but they're just not going to be able to keep up. I was like, Andy, your bet is getting trashed right now.
He hasn't been playing all year, Herbie.
They found a way. Utah is going to Washington lost against Arizona State. So Washington's now got a loss. Oregon obviously has a loss.
Ugly loss.
USC is out of the picture. Caleb, the rumor that Caleb Williams might want to, sit out, right, for health reasons.
I don't know.
I don't know how much. Yeah, it's just not good. It's not good. The bowl game, maybe, and I've never been for that, but no.
Some of the other things, too, he's just coming off a little full of himself lately.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff in the media, the press.
Don't act like you've arrived yet.
Yeah, you haven't done anything, quite honestly.
You haven't.
Been a great college quarterback. Congratulations. A lot of guys have been great college quarterbacks.
Yeah. And Caleb Williams, it was great to watch last year and the year before at Oklahoma, but he won the Heisman last year in a light Heisman field. It was not I mean, Stetson Bennett was in the mix for the Heisman. Let's not forget, with all due respect to Stet. So, yeah,
that was a bad loss for Washington.
Very loss for Washington. And then people are saying now, like Pac-12, they had a chance.
Moment in the sun, yeah.
Utah might come and wreck it all. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. We got a lot to get to. My Penn State pick did not hit.
No.
My Penn State pick.
It was a very low-scoring game for two explosive offenses.
No, I knew it was going to be a defensive game, but Penn State just wasn't ready for that stage. Allard, the young quarterback, he wasn't ready, and the bright lights hit a little too bright, I think, for him. So, yeah, there's a lot to get to today. We're talking Bison. We're talking ball. It's a football Monday. 701-476-1660 if you want to get in here. We'll visit with Phil Hansen in a little bit at 11:30. We'll get to your phone calls after this. It's the Insiders on Bison 1660.
Always having a good time, but never letting it get out of hand.
I approach you from the front and kind of like, wow, this dude's pretty serious. Then I walk away and he likes to party with 2 R's.
You've got the Insiders on Bison 1660.
In the world of agriculture, every role a woman plays is vital.
Meet Carmen, an agronomist who ensures every seed thrives. Her expertise fuels the success of our farms. And there's Judy, Tina, and Carrie, the backbone of our office. Their dedication keeps everything running smoothly. At ProSeed, we appreciate and value every woman in agriculture. Whether in the field, the office, or raising a family, your contributions shape our industry. Need seed? Think ProSeed. ProSeed.net.
Wimmer's Diamonds is turning 104, and we want to share the excitement with you. October 23rd to November 4th, take advantage of incredible savings of 20 to 50% off on our in-stock diamond pendants, earrings, and bracelets. Whether you prefer natural or lab-grown diamonds, we have the finest pieces for you. And the icing on the cake? A chance to win a 1-carat lab-grown diamond. Join us as we celebrate 104 years of excellence and endless love at Wimmer's Diamonds.
Join the Bison 1660 Hotline Show live after every NDSU Bison football game at Applebee's. Andy, Chris, and former players will break down the Bison game. Who had the best catch, who ran for the most yards, and maybe who to watch for next week. While there, satisfy your hunger cravings and take advantage of Applebee's great happy hour specials. Plus, try your luck at winning Bison 1660 swag and NDSU tickets. After every Bison football game, enjoy the Bison Hotline live from Applebee's off 19th Avenue North, Fargo.
Are you a business owner with remodel plans in the near future? When it comes to your electrical needs, you only need one call, and that's to JDP Electric. JDP's team of professionals will work with you closely and are able to follow a strict timeline to get your project done when it's needed. That way, you don't have to worry about closing your doors and missing any customers or sales. Put your company in the best hands by calling JDP right away. Call 701-232-1991 today to experience the JDP difference or online at jdpelectric.net.
Corwin Toyota has over 20 new vehicles on the lot and ready for immediate delivery. Get an extra $750 allowance on all new ground inventory to use for upgrades. Add it to your trade value or off the price of your new vehicle. Plus, financing as low as 3.99%. That's right, $750 allowance and 3.99% financing. If you're not looking to buy but need extra cash, that's okay. We'll pay you top dollar for your vehicle. Head to Corwin Toyota today or shop online, corwinauto.com.
33 years and counting. CI Sport, #1 for corporate, resort, collegiate, and high school apparel. We've partnered with college bookstores, high schools, and retailers to bring you high-quality game day apparel. Whether for work or play, every day is game day at CI Sport. With brands you love like Nike, Ozio, Under Armour, and the CI Sport brand. With competitive pricing and fast turnaround times, we help you play harder, work harder, and cheer harder in style. CI Sport, 2121 43rd Street in Fargo and CISport.com.
Whether it's the FCS, NFL, or productivity at work, we have you covered.
That man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
It's the Insiders on Bison 1660.
Back here on the Insiders, First Western Bank Broadcast Center. Sam Niederman, Andy Rickoff, and Ian Longton. First Western Bank and Trust, your community bank with premier customer service and banking on the go with the My First Western app. First Western Bank and Trust, you can bank on us. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Correction, Washington lost, or excuse me, it felt like a loss. Washington beat Arizona State. They beat them barely, 15-7. Felt like a loss. Penix did not play well, so beg your pardon there. I had the wrong thing.
You can win segment. And still lose. Does happen.
There's a difference between winning a game and beating a team.
True.
As Saban would say.
15-7, not impressive.
Felt like a loss. Penix, a couple of picks.
They were about to lose. Yeah. Needed 12 points in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, they hung on and came back there at the bitter end. So, beg your pardon, there's a correction there. Washington, a winner. UW still 7-0. Let's go to the phone. 701-476-1660. Mike in Maine on the line. Good morning, Mike. How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're doing well, Mike. What's on your mind?
Good. It's good to be on the air. It's cool to be on the air. Before the start of the 2023 season, if you could have looked into the future and found out that the Bison football team is currently only 5-2, would have you guys been surprised, or did you guys figure they'd be 5-2 at this point? And does the Bison beating the Leathernecks make Bison players feel much better after losing to North Dakota? Because the Leathernecks are such a bad football team, like you guys said earlier. Currently, they're 0-7.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you for the call, Mike. To answer the first question, I think it's a good question. Would you be surprised if NDSU was 5-2 if you looked into the crystal ball before the season heading into this Murray State weekend? I would have been surprised. I would have maybe been a little less surprised if it was 6-1 because I did have the UND game circled as a potential dicey one. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't have forecasted the loss to South Dakota. So
correct. Yeah.
I would say moderately surprised if it would have been 6-1. But yeah, it is surprising a little bit to be 5-2 at this stage in the game. Did not see the USD loss and did not see the UND loss happening the way that it did happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's where I was going to go with. It was 2 losses at this point. Surprising. I think what you said, through the whole season you got 2 losses. I'm like, okay, I can see that possibly happening. But at this point, definitely surprising when you haven't played SDSU, Southern Illinois, or UNI, and then it was more so the result against UND. I think the win against Western, like I said, it gets them back on their feet. You're feeling like, okay, we kind of got up off the mat a little bit there, but they know they got a lot of work still ahead of them. I would think this team, it doesn't take away the sting of losing that game against UND. It's just like, okay, we had our last game, and most recent result, we got a resounding win. Like, that's a good thing. That's positive, but a lot of work still ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Trudge on.
We're going to talk with Phil Hansen, the Hall of Famer, about this here in just a moment. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, Phil will join us here on the program talking Bison football with the one and only. That's next here on The Insiders.
Your home for the Thundering Herd.
Hey, you got any left-handed football?
Bison 1660.
Doesn't matter who you are or where you're from, you're always welcome where there's Jim Beam. Small-town guy in a big city? Big city guy in a small town, wherever Jim Beam is welcome, you'll be welcome. Country guy at a rock show, Viking fan at a Packer game.
And the throw incomplete. Oh, what a pressing tackle.
Just look for the Jim Beam, and you know you're always welcome. Your friends at Jim Beam remind you to drink responsibly.
At Dakota Underground, they value family and teamwork. And for over 40 years, they've remained at the top of the industry. This wouldn't be possible without the dedicated employees who are considered to be family. Like the Bison, Dakota Underground is proud of their accomplishments and know that their success comes from working with the best of the best and settling for nothing less than superior work and service. Dakota Underground, proud member of this community for 4 decades and proud member of Bison Nation. To see open positions or previous projects, visit dakotaunderground.net.
Hey Bison Nation, it's Kyle Emanuel, and I found out firsthand that determining what insurance plan you need can actually be easy. You just need someone that you trust. That's why I use the good neighbors over at the Ryan Kill State Farm Agency. There was nothing hard, overwhelming, or frustrating about it. We talked about my priorities and what I cared about protecting the most. He gave me his recommendations and I decided what made the most sense for me. No pressure, no hidden agenda, just one good neighbor looking out for another.
If you want a good neighbor on your sideline, reach out by going to RyanKillInsurance.com.
HornPlastics.com.
Harvest season is right around the corner. It's time to get your equipment in gear. Horn Plastics marks 40 incredible years in the business, so why trust anyone else? They've got the inventory and unbeatable discounts to make sure your trucks are ready to roll, including their game-changing Super Slide bed liners, the secret to smoother operations and protected cargo. Built tough, built durable, the Super Slide bed liners are engineered to last, saving you time and money. Join the countless satisfied customers who have trusted Horn Plastics over the years. To learn more, visit hornplastics.com.
Here's your Red River Valley weather update on Bison 1660.
Monday in the Fargo-Moorhead area is going to be partly sunny with high temperatures nearing 61 degrees. There's a 30% chance of showers after 1 p.m. Wind gusts can get as high as 20 miles an hour. Chance of rain bumps up to 50% Monday night. It'll be mostly cloudy with temperatures dropping to 37 degrees. Wind gusts getting as high as 30 miles an hour.
This weather update brought to you by Brady's Service Center. With donuts, breakfast, and lunch items daily, Brady's Service Center is your one-stop shop for all your automotive and road trip needs.
Hey, this is Daniel Landman, co-owner of Haven Homes, where we specialize in slab-on-grade homes. Are you ready for easy living in a house with no basement and the stress that comes with it? We do full-scale customization, drafting, and design, so we're here with you every step of the way. You'll work directly with owners who care and bring our small-town values to each project. Let us help build your future.
Serving the FM and surrounding areas, including lakes. Building not just a house, but a haven. Haven Homes. HavenHomesND.com.
It's time to go inside the huddle with Phil Hansen. He represented NDSU for 11 years on the NFL gridiron.
Phil Hansen scooping it up into the end zone. Touchdown, Buffalo.
Phil Hansen today. Johnny on the spot comes up with a fumble recovery last year. Here he comes up with one and runs it in for a touchdown.
When it comes to Bison football, no one knows it better than Phil. Now, here's the Hall of Famer, Phil Hansen.
Here he is. He visits us every Monday here on The Insiders. Phil Hansen, NDSU radio analyst, 20 years in the booth, Hall of Famer for the Bison, former Buffalo Bill. Phil, happy Monday. Good to talk with you. How are you?
Always good to talk after a win.
Yes, it feels much better today. That's for sure. Much better than last week. Bison win 52-7 against Western Illinois. We talked about it on the air, partner. Obviously, you can't read too much into it given the state of Western as an opponent, but the Bison certainly left no doubt, and they were able to do some good things. What stood out to you in NDSU's performance on Saturday?
Well, first of all, I guess just win the game. I mean, they did what they had to do. You know, it's really hard to – I told Brad before the game, I said, I wonder what I'm going to learn after the game, and I don't know if I learned anything from this game just because of the opponent. But, you know, they won. They had to do that. They did it. I like the fact that they got some younger players and just to see somebody else running around, give them some experience. So I think that's what I gathered from the game, which isn't a lot.
Yeah, it's something. And I think we've kind of touched on that already, Phil, is, take care of business, right? And it's good to get a win. You're coming off a loss. You kind of back off the mat a little bit. One thing I did, take away that I thought was interesting was we saw 3 handoffs to Rajah Nelson, and it was, it was meant to happen. Like, it wasn't just, threw him a pass or something and he ran it 50 yards. This was intentional, handed the ball to him a couple of times. He broke one for a big touchdown. Maybe this was just because Western's defense doesn't have much, but what do you like about Rajah out of the backfield potentially?
I think, remember Christian Watson? Remember midway through his last year, they're like, geez, we're not getting him the ball in the passing game. We got to find a way. So then the jet sweep started coming, and then more jet sweep, and they got to find a way to get the ball in his hands. And then they did some bubble screens with him. And so, I think that was just, hey, we got to get the ball in our playmakers' hands. Rajah's very effective there. I don't know if it was a one-time game or if that's something that he's very capable of doing. And, if they're going to do it more, I guess I'd ask, well, why did it start now? Why didn't we do it, at the beginning of the season? But, they're probably looking and searching for some things too. So, if it works, great. Keep doing it.
Right. Also did, I think, a jet sweep to Eli Green in the game. That worked pretty well.
Yep. No, Eli Green. Yeah, Eli Green. He's really he's a fast guy. So, I mean, they're using their talent, and they're getting them the ball. You see it. They get it to their playmakers. That's what you got to do.
Yeah. No, we talked about it too, Phil. Coach Ed's talking about getting the ball to the guys who have playmaking ability and speed and space. One thing that I noticed in the game that I thought was interesting, I'm curious about your take on it. NDSU kind of got back to basics in the run game. They went under center, handed the ball off, got Barika Penu going, got TK Marshall going, and the tailback run game was there for basically the most prominent of any of the NDSU games this season. What was your take on that with NDSU handing the ball off and finding some success?
I don't really care if they're under center or not under center. That doesn't really matter to me. I mean, the production of the play, to hand off the ball from shotgun or pistol or from under center. I mean, it's the blocking and the result of the play that's the most important. And then you go from there. So I'm good. I mean, I'm glad if that works better for them, great. Result of the play is the most important.
No, yeah, absolutely right.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And they were able to, get multiple guys in the end zone. We saw TK Marshall go for 3 scores. Barika had 2 scores. And we obviously mentioned Raja's score. Wanted to ask you about Joe Stuffle, the tight end. He has really emerged for this team this year. He's got 5 touchdowns, caught his 5th one on Saturday. What have you seen from Joe at that tight end position for the Bison, Phil? He's starting to make an impact here.
Steady, stable, consistent, dependable, accountable. I mean, those are the things that jump to my mind. That he's a guy you can depend on. He always has been, and just a good, steady player.
Getting Phil Hansen here with us on the Insiders, joining us every single Monday to reflect on the Bison result from the past weekend. I wanted to go on the special team side. I wasn't able to listen to Phil's report card. I was setting up for our post-game show Bison Hotline over at Applebee's. That was super well attended. I really liked that, but I got a feeling that the grade wasn't overly favorable on the special team side. What have you been seeing there these last couple of weeks, and what would you like them to maybe clean up?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a special teams coach or each coach takes one segment of the special teams. I'm not sure, but got to dedicate a little more time, or you just have to make it important. And I'm not saying the Bison aren't, but when you got your punt return, yeah, you think Jaden Price, boy, we'd love to get the ball in his hand. I got to get down. I got to block for him. I got to get downfield. But if the punter doesn't punt the ball, it doesn't matter. I mean, the kid's got to know that. Usually in the NFL, we always had 2 guys, one on either side. We'd move them around a little bit so teams couldn't lock in on who our guys were going to be, that were going to make sure the ball is kicked. And we always switched things up. We never did things the same on special teams because the other team, when they see you do it week after week after week after week, then they can start saying, we know this guy's going to be here because that's where he's been for the last 4 weeks. So you got to give special teams the time it deserves. If you don't, the things that have happened the last couple of weeks are going to continue happening. And, against marginal teams, okay, no big deal. Let's get on to offense and defense. But against good teams make those things special. They make them important.
I did think on a positive note, special teams-wise, Eli Ozick was taking the kickoffs, and I did think, though, a higher kickoff, and they were all caught between the 1 and the 2 yard line, or even one on the goal line, too. What'd you like about maybe the kickoffs changing something up there?
No, it's fine. He's got pretty good hang time, too. It looks like the ball's up there, and it gets down there a long ways. That's great, but we still, if they're going to return it, we still got to have guys hustling down the field. Yeah, I don't know. You sprint downfield. Don't worry about your lane. You'll get to your lane. I see too many guys looking at where they got to be. Oh, there's the L4. I got to be inside here. I mean, get your butt down there and then worry about what lane you're in. That's just what I see from the press box. I like to see a lot more running. I don't know how many safety guys they got on that, but that's just my opinion. I just run hard, run harder.
Yeah, we'll see if the Bison can clean that up. It had the little reverse that did get called back for a flag, but it looked like it was set up pretty well for Western Illinois on their first kickoff return. Phil Hansen, the Hall of Famer, here with us on the Insiders. Phil, I'm just curious, when you played for the Bills, like, were you on any specials, or were you on field goal block or anything like that? What do you remember about, like, kind of your experience on special teams, the NFL, and how often you guys practice it, right? Because it's obviously a phase of the game that's very important.
Yep, we would take a special team each day, and we'd put them towards the beginning of practice. We wouldn't let anybody leave. Everybody had to be there to watch, and we would substitute liberally because usually typically you have your backup linebackers, running backs on those special teams. But we would, it wasn't a slap your buddy on the butt time and what are you going to do tonight and what are you going to do after the game? It wasn't that. Marv Levy always made it important. He put it right in the middle of practice. I don't know. Our special teams coach he was pretty dedicated. I was on the kickoff team first couple games, I think, and then I became a starter, so I wasn't on that anymore. But I was always on the field goal defense team, always trying to block a kick or something, or an extra point or a field goal.
I gotcha.
I was the backup long snapper. I forgot about that.
No kidding.
The backup long snapper, yeah.
Really?
Yes,
How did that come about?
You know what I did in college? I wasn't great at it, but I was serviceable, I guess. The guys, I'm left-handed, so the guys, the punters, the holders, they don't like the ball coming back from a left-hander because normally it's a right-hander and the ball spins the opposite way. So I was kind of, I don't know, I'd say I was shortchanged because those guys didn't like the left-handed ball spinning back there the way it did. So, but I don't know, I practiced long snapping in the NFL for all 11 years I played. You know how many times I did it in a game?
0.
Sam, you are good. Yep, I never did it once in a game. But you know what? It gave the special teams coach. I know I got Hansen in my back pocket if I need it. I know it's not going to be perfect, but it's not going to be on the ground or over his head or something. So I did it for a long time, but never got a chance to do it again.
I did not know. So you long snapped while you played at NDSU then?
Yes. Yep, I was a long snapper for my last couple of years, I think. And then I was glad to do it in the NFL. I was trying to make a team. If there's something more I could do, I wanted to do it. And then once I established myself as a defensive lineman, then I just kind of couldn't get away from it. But I was happy to do it just in case I needed to do it. Good warm up for practice anyway. I can't say I wanted to be there every day, long snapping, especially after my 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th year when I never actually done it in a game or a preseason game. but I was always able and capable and to do it. Yep.
I love it.
Man of many talents.
Yeah, learn something new. I did not know that about Phil. All right.
You know what? When I think about that, I just think towards the end of my career, when I'm up there in pay and a young guy comes in, he's equal to Phil Hansen, I would hope that the special teams coach would step up for me when they're making their cuts and say, well, Hansen, he can long snap, and that's a benefit to our special teams. I don't know if that ever happened or not, but the more you can do, the longer they're going to keep you around. Yeah,
make yourself more valuable.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. I love that. And you also were valuable on the call this week because you were the one that went over, I believe, and got Trey Lance to come over and do a few minutes on the broadcast there. How cool was it to see?
Well, Andy, I learned that from you. I learned that from you. Just you went out and you did your thing at Missouri State, so I figured the least I could do is follow up and get a pro player on the broadcast.
That was great. It worked out great. It was awesome to see Trey back, Hunter Lipke back as well, Nash Jensen. So pretty cool to see all those guys, recent alums in the last 3, 4, 5 years, come back and support the Bison. Phil, last one from me on the game here while we've got you. Finally saw a defensive line get home a little bit. Granted, against an offensive line that's been struggling in pass protection this year, but you had 6 sacks all around, and they were able to get some production in that area of the game. How about that for a second?
Yeah, it was very nice to see. And, I was thinking going into this game, if this quarterback has a little time to throw, he's got some pretty good receivers, and they could expose our secondary a little bit, but really never came to be because of the good pass rush from the Bison. So, yeah, always happy to see that from a former defensive lineman, to see them guys produce, and they obviously did. Good to see.
Yes, it was fantastic. Got it going early and often as the Bison rolled to the win. Well, Phil, we appreciate you taking the time today. Enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy the hunting this weekend, a little pheasant hunting, and we will see you on Saturday back inside the Dome.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Phil. Phil Hansen, the Hall of Famer, joining us here on the Insiders. Learn something to do it every day. Former
And the
long
long
snapper.
yes.
We're going to have to.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I had no idea. But it makes sense, though. I mean, like, you know, in the NFL, you got to have, if you can do multiple things, it saves a roster spot potentially.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. Make yourself, non-expendable or whatever the term is. Just make yourself valuable, whatever way you can. That's why special teams are important. So you got like Chris Board's made a career out of it. Former Bison. He's just kind of stuck around because he's been a phenomenal special teams guy. He's gotten a few snaps at linebacker as well, but just special teams guru, basically.
Yeah, people are in captain. Matthew Slater, captains on special teams, Pro Bowlers on special teams for sure.
Devin Hester.
Devin, don't need to remind me about that.
Or me.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Well, every week, Phil is brought to us by CI Sport, #1 in corporate, resort, collegiate, and high school apparel. They've partnered with college bookstores, high schools, and retailers to bring you high-quality game day apparel, whether for work or play. Every day is game day at CI Sport with brands you love like Nike, Ozio, Under Armour, and the CI Sport brand. With competitive pricing and fast turnaround times, they help you play harder, work harder, and cheer harder in style. Visit CI Sport, 2121 43rd Street in Fargo, and cisport.com.
I'm ashamed of you two. It's 11:46. I'm the only one that's taking a bite of my Jersey Mike's sub. It's a Victory Monday. It's Jersey Mike's Monday. I got a new sandwich I've never had before. I have dug into it. I already got like one section done. You guys have not touched your Jersey Mike's subs. What's wrong? What are we doing here?
I don't know.
Just into the show?
I'm into the show, but running around. Yeah, that is a bad job. I will get to it in this break.
Okay. Ian, we're going to get to the Jersey Mike's. You got the stickball special. It's one of my favorites.
I know.
You've never had it before.
I've just been thinking about that brownie that you owe me the whole time. I forgot about it.
Those are pretty good. That'll be later on this week. Thank you to the Lions for not showing up at all on that one. But Jersey Mike's a sub above. That's one that's measured in more than inches or seconds till served. They are proud to be a Bison football supporter with locations in Fargo and West Fargo. Jersey Mike's wants to make your day better, one authentic Jersey style sub at a time. I went with a new one today, one of the cold subs. Went with the number 12. I'm going to probably mispronounce this, but the King Crow Special. All natural, oven roasted top rounds. What's a top round?
No idea.
I'm not a butcher, but I know it tastes good. Has provolone and then perfectly complemented with a layer of pepperoni. Phenomenal. And of course, got it Mike's way.
That pepperoni is an X factor, I bet, on that. I might have to get that next week. I went with the Old Faithful, my turkey provolone.
Yep.
Old Faithful.
You are vanilla.
Yeah, I
turkey
told
provolone.
you. I told you, man. We get our text every Sunday. Hey, what are your guys' Jersey Mike's loyals? Our good friend Kyle Emanuel getting our orders, and here I am.
With like turkey and bacon. Like, would you just add bacon?
Why the club sub with the bacon last week?
Fair enough. Okay. Makes sense.
I wanted to feel a little lighter. I did get back in the gym this morning.
Nice.
So, trying to keep it, as healthy as possible, if I can.
Good luck.
No, it's not looking good, man. We did the Bison basketball television show this morning. I'm like, oh, man, midsection's not looking good on that TV.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, TV adds 10 pounds.
You're young.
I know. It's not good, Andy. It's falling off here. Jersey Mike's Monday. Ian got the stickball special. We will have to get digging into these because, yes, 45 minutes into the show, that's not a good job.
Not acceptable.
Not a good job on a Jersey Mike's Monday. So
I've already got a quarter of mine done. I'm just waiting for you to go to break so I can finish another one.
Let's do that.
Let's do that? Okay.
Let's do that. When we come back, we're going to round up the weekend in college football, look at some headlines up across FBS and FCS. Plus, Keaton Gillogly will join us at 12, Montana State Bobcats voice. We're going to break down that big win they had over Sac State. That's all coming up next here on The Insiders.
Champions play here.
This man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play. No disrespect whatsoever, but I'm sorry to tell everybody the truth. He has small hands. He can't catch the ball.
You're home for the Thundering Herd. Bison 1660.
Celebrate 60 electrifying years with Rick Electric, the oldest and largest family-owned electrical contractor in the Fargo-Moorhead area. For 60 incredible years, Rick Electric has enhanced the lives of countless customers, providing safety, reliability, and innovation. They're charging ahead with a commitment to excellent customer service. Go to rickelectric.com or call them at 233-6194 to experience 60 years of excellence.
Hey, Bison Nation, are you a safe driver? Well, you can save big with the Agents with Answers at Nodak Insurance Company. Safe drivers can save up to 30% on their insurance premiums when you enroll in the Drive for Less program from Nodak Insurance. All you got to do is download the Nodak Insurance app today for your chance to start saving big with the Drive for Less program from Nodak Insurance. For more information and for all your insurance needs, go online to NodakINS.com for Nodak Insurance Company, the agents with answers.
At Dakota Underground, they value family and teamwork. And for over 40 years, they've remained at the top of the industry. This wouldn't be possible without the dedicated employees who are considered to be family. Like the Bison, Dakota Underground is proud of their accomplishments and know that their success comes from working with the best of the best and settling for nothing less than superior work and service. Dakota Underground, proud member of this community for 4 decades and proud member of Bison Nation. To see open positions or previous projects, visit DakotaUnderground.net.
Hey, Bison Nation, Sam Niederman here with this week's edition of The Road to the Ring, presented by Spitz Gems and Fine Jewelry. The Bison rolled to a 52-7 win over Western Illinois on Saturday and improved to 5-2 on the season. NDSU racked up 625 yards of total offense, the most yardage in a single game for the Bison since November of the 2019 season. How about Code Green? They had a season-best 6 sacks on the afternoon, and Rajon Nelson turned on the Jets for a 76-yard touchdown run, which marked the longest play for the Herd this season. To top it all off, TK Marshall had 3 touchdowns, and Barika Penu had 2 rushing touchdowns of his own, along with a career-high 94 yards. Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry has a long history and reputation for quality, workmanship, and rock-solid pricing. Whether diamond engagement rings, custom jewelry, or repairs, let Brenda and the team at Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry create a legacy for your family.
'Tis a season for us to say how much we appreciate you. This is Scott Zalondik. We are so fortunate to continue serving our customers just as we have for generations. We take pride in our ability to give straight answers and the best possible financial options for your family, your business, and your ag operation. Thank you for trusting in Cornerstone Bank. So how much do we really appreciate you? It's a lot. From all of us at Cornerstone Bank, we wish you a joyful holiday season and a prosperous new year.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hail the Bison, right here, your home for NDSU sports. This is Bison 1660.
Bison 0-24, handoff Rajon Nelson. He's had a good day too. Cutting to the 35, out to the 40, and there goes Rajon. Rajon at the 25, 20, 15, 10, end zone, touchdown. Touchdown, Rajon Nelson. 76 yards for the senior from Lakeville, Minnesota. And he is into the end zone for the first time this season. A huge play for the Bison, their longest play of the season, as they have opened up a 27-0 lead against Western Illinois here in the first half.
That is our E.W. Wiley drive of the game. E.W. Wiley has been a leader in the trucking industry for over 85 years. From small companies to Fortune 500s, E.W. Wiley has the fleet to go the extra mile and get it done. Visit online at wileytrucking.com. One play, not even a drive, just one play there. Bison scored on the one play for Raja, and then they had the turnover and scored on the one play to Joe Stuffle. Boom. That's what you like. Got some explosive plays there.
24 seconds, 2 touchdowns. Pretty good. You're not going to get any better than that one. I've said this a couple of times. I feel like it was kind of big brother versus little brother in a certain couple of circumstances. That one where Raj is just running away from everyone, it felt like, big brother against the little brother in the backyard, and you say, "Oh, catch me if you can," and you just kind of keep running away from the younger brother. And then Joe Stuffles as well, where he had a guy draped all over him and kind of stiff-armed him, but it was more like just kind of pushed him off of you type of thing. That's why Western's just got a long ways to go. They've got to find a much better way to be better defensively, offensively, everything basically. But the Bison take advantage of it. You want explosive plays? They got explosive plays.
Well done. That's our E.W. Wiley drive of the game. All right, let's real quick to wrap up this first hour presented by Rick Electric. Visit them online at rickelectric.com. College football, huge weekend. I could not have been more wrong on Penn State, Ohio State. I thought Penn State was going to win the Big Ten. I thought it started on Saturday. I thought they were going to go into CBUS and get the win. They fall short. 20-12 the final. Buckeyes win it. Marvin Jr., Maserati Marv, 11 catches, 162 through the air, and a touchdown. Buckeyes remained undefeated, and Penn State suffers its first loss of the season.
Not complete out of it. Penn State could beat Michigan. Michigan could beat Ohio State. You never know what happens there. But you said you weren't surprised. I was surprised at the lack of scoring there.
Oh, yeah. Penn State's I thought their defense was going to win it.
I knew the defense was really good. But it's college football. Everything's high scoring nowadays. I thought there'd be a little bit, mid to upper 20s-ish, or for both teams, basically. But not surprised that Ohio State won it. I think they've been on a little bit of a revenge tour, but we're still here. Like, don't forget about us. I think everyone's ready to write them off, or has been trying to write them off for a couple of years now. That's a great win. It won't mean nothing if it don't beat Michigan.
Oh, no.
Doesn't mean a darn thing. It don't beat Michigan. That means you lose to Michigan again, and that means you're not in the college football playoff. So, but they put themselves in position now, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, Michigan beat Michigan State big time on Saturday night in East Lansing, 49-zip. Also, the Big Ten. Did you guys see this? The Gophers and the Hawkeyes. Mm-hmm. Minnesota wins 12-10. But did you see how Iowa lost? Cooper DeJean, their All-American punt return guy, called for an illegal fair catch signal on what would have been the go-ahead game-winning punt return touchdown. What did you think? I thought it was a pretty sketcy call.
So real time, he picks up the ball after it bounced like 3 times, picks it up and runs it all the way back for like a 55-yard punt return touchdown that would have put Iowa in the lead and more than likely given them the win based off the way both of those offenses were going. Nobody was moving the ball. So a huge call. They review it, come back and say he called for a fair catch. You watch the replay. One arm is pointing, the right arm, but they said the left arm was the one. The left arm never goes like above the head, like you would do for like waving for a fair catch. But he's running with like the arm's going in a circular motion.
Like he's waving a guy around third base almost.
Yeah, like a base coach.
They're doing like small arm circles in gym class.
Afterwards, like after the game, said like, "Oh, he was just running." Like nobody runs with your arm doing that. So it wasn't like when you're saying a ball's dead, you're going like the incomplete signal. He wasn't doing that either, but he wasn't waving. It was like something weird in between. So I didn't care about it either way. But the Gophers got lucky because I don't know if they thought he was signaling for fair catch or what, but that was atrocious coverage on that punt. There's literally 6 guys. He's pinned against the sideline, gets the ball there up like 3 bounces, gets the ball. There's 6 Gophers there, and none of them tackled him. He made one move and was past all of them, and then it was goodbye to the house. So they got lucky.
Yeah, it was very bad tackling. Minnesota gets very lucky. A bad call, borderline.
It getting overturned, I didn't hate it, but if it had stayed, I wouldn't have hated it either.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird one.
Yeah. It was weird. He's pointing at it with one hand. He's doing like a Disney wand or something like that with the other. I don't know what was going on there, but tough break for Iowa, which best chance of scoring is its defense and special teams. They got one of them there, but unfortunately it was taken off the board. Minnesota wins 12-10. We talked about it earlier.
Have you seen, by the way, the standings in the Big Ten West just briefly?
What are
Minnesota's
they at now?
not out of it either.
No, they're never out of it.
Wisconsin's 3-1 in conference. Iowa now 3-2. Minnesota 2-2. Nebraska 2-2. Kyle Emanuel, the Cornhuskers are above 500, 4-3 overall. First time since 2019. There you go. The Big Ten championship game is not going to be a sexy one.
It never is with whoever comes out of the West. It never is.
That's why Oregon, USC,
get rid of those divisions.
Get those guys in. Yeah, there you go.
Here it comes. Bama beat Tennessee 34-20. Nick Saban says, "I'm loving this roller coaster season." I couldn't have been more wrong on that. They're going to make the playoff. They look really dangerous now. Look really dangerous. They were down 13-zip in the first quarter, 27 at half, and they end up rallying back to win 34-20.
They look dangerous. But one half they look dangerous and one half they look awful.
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
You're not going to put yourself behind that much against Georgia and win a game.
You got Saban in a good mood. He's never been like this before. That's a dangerous side. Alabama is going to be a force to be reckoned with. They'll have a chance against Georgia in an SEC title.
They're sort of like what we said about NDSU a couple weeks ago, right? Or even last week. Like when we were looking at the potential playoff bracket, you're saying none of these teams are signed. Nobody wants to face NDSU. But they're not maybe as afraid of NDSU as they have been in the past. Nobody wants to face Bama if they happen to get into the 14 playoff. Nobody wants to face them in a semifinal, but maybe they're not quite the mystique as they have.
Oh, no, definitely not. But I'm just saying, man, people doubted them. I doubted them. I wrote them off. They'll be ready to go come the SEC title game. Not saying they're going to win it, but they're improving rapidly every week. It's been good to see for them.
Yeah,
Millo's doing just fine.
Millo's been okay.
Their defense is great. The defense is really good. They're kind of getting back to basics there. So that's our look around on college football. 11 a.m. hour of the Insiders on this wonderful Victory Monday has been brought to you by Rick Electric. Rick Electric has been serving the Fargo community for over 56 years, for over 60 years, providing excellent electrical services for both commercial and residential electrical needs. Find out what they can do for you online at rickelectric.com. Hour number 2 coming up next. Keaton Gillogly will join us, the play-by-play voice of the Montana State Bobcats. That's on the other side here on the Insiders.
On the street, I was passing my time away.
Attention all jewelry lovers. Have you been searching for that one-of-a-kind piece that truly reflects your personal style? Look no further than Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry. We specialize in custom jewelry design to bring your vision to life. And if you're in the market for something new, our showcases are filled with gorgeous, unique pieces that you won't find anywhere else. Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry, where your style meets our expertise. Online at schmidtsjewelry.com.
Hey, business owners, when it's project time, you've got your plumber, you've got your electrical guy, but do you have your window guy? Now you do. DavTech Window Services. As winter's icy grip tightens, your windows and doors become crucial barriers against the cold. The team at DavTech Window Services is here to help you prepare for the season. With a decade of service under their belt and a century of combined experience, you can trust them to get the job done right. Online at DavTechWindowServices.com.
When it comes to your financial institution's success, choosing the right partner is critical. You deserve a seasoned advisor, someone who listens, understands, and is committed to your goals. With almost a century of experience and a team of 270 professionals, Brady Martz & Associates is driven to make a difference. Their financial and business advisory services are tailored to you. Your needs and your goals are their focus. Not just here for now, here for what's next. From audits to tax strategies, regulatory compliance to personalized solutions, they've got you covered. Brady Martz. Make every day count.
Join the Bison 1660 Hotline Show live after every NDSU Bison football game at Applebee's. Andy, Chris, and former players will break down the Bison game. Who had the best catch, who ran for the most yards, and maybe who to watch for next week. While there, satisfy your hunger cravings and take advantage of Applebee's great happy hour specials. Plus, try your luck at winning Bison 1660 swag and NDSU tickets. After every Bison football game, enjoy the Bison Hotline live from Applebee's off 19th Avenue North, Fargo.
This season, the NDSU Bison have added a new recruit to the lineup. This new player is smooth and cold as ice. It's a refreshing start to the new football season, but this player is only available for a limited time. It's the NDSU Bison commemorative Bud Light cans. Decked out with Bison pride, these cans feature the colors and helmet of the herd. Bison fans, grab these special limited edition Bud Light Bison cans now at your favorite liquor store. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Bison.
Truck headquarters. Gateway Chevrolet has new Chevy trucks arriving daily. Buy your new Chevy Silverado at Invoice. Yes, Invoice pricing on new Silverados with a fresh look, new interiors, and larger screens with easy-to-use technology. Save thousands on new Chevy Silverados with 4 different motors available. Dynamic fuel management, Bluetooth, backup camera, Apple CarPlay, and more. Save thousands and enjoy the smooth ride in your new Chevy Silverado from Gateway Chevrolet. Find new roads. Details gatewayfargo.com.
KQWB West Fargo, KPFX HD3 Kindred, and K224FD Fargo. Bison 1660, powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
And here's what you need to know.
Reports say 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey is expected to play tonight on Monday Night Football against the Vikings. He's been dealing with an oblique injury. In the NBA, ESPN reports James Harden remains away from the 76ers, and it's increasingly unclear whether he'll play in the regular season opener against the Bucks on Thursday. The Athletic reports Klay Thompson and the Warriors remain far apart in contract extension negotiations, and current signs point to Thompson going into free agency next summer. In baseball, Astros pitcher Brian Abreu has a hearing to appeal his 2-game suspension today. A decision will be made by first pitch of Game 7 tonight. College football reports say Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers is going to miss time with a sprained AC joint in his throwing shoulder. And Georgetown announced first-year women's basketball coach Tasha Butts has died today at the age of 41 following a 2-year battle with breast cancer. I'm Nick Cope.
This is the Insiders on Bison 1660, covering the world of NDSU sports like no other.
North Dakota State advances to the round of 32. Touchdown, Bison!
The Insiders are presented by Proseed. Need seed? Think Proseed. Welcome to your Green and Gold HQ for the Bison. The Insiders on Bison 1660 starts now.
Hour number 2 of the program here on a Victory Monday and a Jersey Mike Sub Monday. How's the turkey provolone treating you?
Very good. I'm halfway home.
I'm a little over halfway home.
You know what is crazy about these Jersey Mikes is we've been getting the long gargantuan size. Beg your pardon to Jersey Mike's because I don't know the official size, but I have been conditioned to just eating this much of a sub now because you could easily just be fine with the half.
Easily, with the amount of meat and
you could easily
veggies and
there's another 2 slices there. I'm gonna go for it.
They're cut it into 4s for you. 4 segments. You figure you one each. 2 segments of the show. You're good. You get through it on a Monday.
Yeah.
Perfect. Stickball special, Ian. Loving it back there?
Extremely good, Andy. That was a good recommendation on your part.
I'd also recommend Mike's Famous Philly if anyone wants to try that next week. There you go. But with us on the Epic Company's hotline right now, I don't know what his favorite sub is. We can ask him, though. Keaton Gillogly, the radio play-by-play voice of Montana State. They had a very, very fun one. Little Big Sky After Dark, at least here locally, 9:30 p.m. kick time there on ESPN2. Number 2 versus number 3, and Montana State got the win. Keaton, great to have you on again, sir. How fun was that one over the weekend?
Oh, man. It was fun. It was worth the 6 a.m. bedtime, but it was a lot of fun, man. We've been waiting for that one for a long time. Haven't seen those 2 teams play since 2019, and yeah, it was well worth the wait. I know that maybe the score looked slightly lopsided at the end, but yeah, no, that was a hardcore, big time, Big Sky football game for sure.
It was, Keaton. Sam Niederman here. Nice to meet you here over the phone. I enjoyed staying up, watched a good chunk of it on ESPN2. They had it on the Deuce, and you guys, the Bobcats, were able to show out on national TV. That's a big statement. You guys had SDSU almost back in week 2. How big was that win for the Bobcat program as a whole as you guys continue your winning ways here in the FCS?
Yeah, I mean, it's the biggest win you can get that week. That's what the coaching staff will tell you. But, it's the game. This is a 2-week set situation here that's been circled on the schedule since they came out. I mean, Idaho's up next, and they're coming off a bye week on Saturday. So, we've been thinking about this one a long time. Sac State's the last team to beat Montana State at home in 2019 before the 24-game home winning streak started. Sacramento State has won the last 3 Big Sky championships in the seasons they've played because they didn't play in the pandemic year. So, they won their last 3 available. And these 2 teams have both been 18-1 in the Big Sky, each separately, since the start of 2021 going into this game. So this was everything we expected. And, it was the 2 reigning Big Sky champs and kind of a little bit of a bragging right Big Sky championship type game. And the Bobcats were able to pull it out despite really having an opportunity to have a lot of excuses early in that game with a lot of injuries piling up in the first quarter, but they got it done, and it was a lot of fun, man. This was something they were looking forward to for a long time.
And like you said, that final score of 42-30 might seem lopsided, but it was 28-24 there, about 10 minutes to go. A great fourth quarter from you guys, though. 3 touchdowns alone in the fourth. You scored 21 points there. A lot of scoring in general, 21-13 in the fourth. That final quarter had to kind of feel like a little bit of a sprint to finish the marathon there.
Yeah, it really did. And there were some turnovers. Both teams threw some interceptions there. And Sacramento State's a great football team. Keaton Bennett is a phenomenal quarterback. I mean, he was dialed in this game. And, Montana State's defensive line has been really, really good this year. And one of the ways Sacramento State tried to neutralize that was getting the ball out of Bennett's hands really quickly. And he did that. And he was really throwing the heck out of the football. And they had some longer drives. But, when it came down to it, Bobcats have made a few more plays, and this is a program that's built on the ground, and it's built by their offensive line that's extremely experienced this season, and that stable of running backs they've gotten. When it came down to it, the offensive line for Montana State was better than anybody else on the field, and they were able to punch a couple of touchdowns in at the end and got some big runs, and that was how you close it out, and that's how you close out a big-time football game.
Speaking of one of those big runs, give me a little bit about Julius Davis. My goodness.
Yeah, Julius Davis is a good kid, man. He's big smiley kid, very outgoing, very energetic, really a great interview, great conversation. But he is a bad man on the football field. He's like, it's fun trying to figure out the different paces of different guys, the different running backs they have. And for Julius Davis, he's kind of the bare-knuckle boxer of the group. It feels like he's coming at you with every one of his limbs. If you say anything to him that could be perceived as a slight, like he's going to take that as motivation, he's going to step up and he's going to talk more trash than you can, and he's after it. And, he's a guy who had some injuries at the University of Wisconsin. Obviously, they've brought in some tremendous running backs, and he wanted an opportunity to go out and play, showcase what he can do, and he wanted to win football games. And his running back coach from Wisconsin came over here as the offensive line coach, and that kind of helped a little bit too, just because there's somebody here who can tell you what it really is like at this place. And he's come in and he's been awesome, man. I mean, he tries to stay on the ground. He was telling us in one of the interviews, like, he doesn't want to jump. Like, he does not want to hurdle. He's trying to stay on the ground. It's safer. It's better. Like, you don't generally want to hurdle, but sometimes it happens. And man, that dude can take flight when he wants to.
Yeah, impressive, man.
He's
I will never
say,
I won't be saying anything but I'm not being able to hurdle, so I don't think anyone can take that one away from him. That was a very impressive run there for Julius Davis, and been a great pickup for you guys in the transfer portal for sure. Tommy Mellott, I think we all remember him a couple of years ago, touchdown Tommy. Unfortunately, you get to that championship game there a few years back, and he gets hurt early on. How has his game developed? The running game is still absolutely there. Has he developed more as a passer here these last couple of seasons?
Yeah, he has. He's had a good fade ball. He's had a good deep ball. His arm strength isn't going to be on the same par as Sean Chambers, but I don't think anybody's is. But one thing we have seen is just a little more consistency and that accuracy in that mid-level game. So that's come along for sure. And then, continuing to make the right decision on when to take a hit and when not to. And it's not like there's been any big paradigm shift. He's such a smart kid. He's such a hard worker, and he just keeps getting slightly better, 1% better every day. It sounds cliche, but just watching him kind of get better, it's like watching water boil. You don't really notice it, and then all of a sudden, wow, look at all these things that he's doing. So yeah, that's been a big part of it, and excited to have him back and fully healthy, and just crossed over 2,000 career rushing yards this week too in that game against Sacramento State. So a special milestone for him, still with another year after this one too.
Yeah, absolutely. Keaton Gillogly, the radio play-by-play voice of Montana State, here with us on the Epic Companies hotline. A big one this week at Idaho. It doesn't get any easier in the Big Sky. Go to Idaho. They've already got that loss at home a couple of weeks back against Montana. They're going to be full bore there in the Kibbie Dome. That should be a fun environment for you. What are you expecting there on Saturday?
Yeah, that was a tough loss for Idaho. They had some injuries on the offensive line, and that hurt. Montana's obviously had an interesting year, and, one of the things they have had, though, is a very good defense. And they might still have the best defense in the Big Sky. So a combination of some injuries on a young offensive line for Idaho State, plus the really complex schemes that Montana runs, that really put a wrench into the plans for Idaho early. Montana was kind of still finding their quarterback situation. So Clifton McDowell, their quarterback, was off to a hot start, and they were just doing some different things on offense, and that helped lead to that hot start. And then from there, it was just kind of white-knuckled, hold on by your fingertips at the end of that game for Montana. But now we're going to get everything from them. It's going to come up again with the defensive backs from Montana State are going to have to be great. They've got a tremendous stable of wide receivers. Devontae McCoy is only a second-year guy, but obviously a very smart quarterback, knows exactly where he needs to be. He doesn't just rely on athleticism and just sprints out of a breaking down pocket. He clearly stay in there, make his reads, run when he needs to. So makes a lot of really, really good decisions. And they're coming off a bye week too, which sometimes is a double-edged sword. Sometimes you come out a little bit sluggish, which we saw from the Bobcats out of their bye week for the first quarter or so. But sometimes it means you get healthy, and that might be just what they need because that offensive line has had some ups and downs, has had some injuries, and for the Bobcats, their defensive line has taken another step. I think they proved they could hang with South Dakota State in week 2, and now we get an opportunity to see what they can do against Idaho because you're going to have to make McCoy uncomfortable because if he's comfortable, man, he's got a heck of an arm. And he's got a heck of a group of guys he can throw to.
No, you're right on it, Keaton. I was just going to ask you. So you're on the road here, second straight week, against another big-time, marquee, Big Sky opponent. You got it done against Sac State. To me, defense travels, right? The defense traveled for you guys on Saturday night. You got the pick six, made some good plays, and you're going to need it, as you mentioned, to disrupt Giovanni and everything the Vandals can do on offense. Give me a little deeper dive into that matchup. What do you think that the Bobcats are going to need to do? What are some areas of the field that you'll be keying in on when Idaho's got the ball and the Bobcats are on D?
Yeah, well, for Montana State, Danny Louis LeCuppa got hurt in this last game. He's one of the starting linebackers, so it doesn't look like he's going to be able to play, but we haven't gotten official word on what's going on. But it looked like a pretty serious injury this last week. So, that's going to change things a little bit in terms of the run fits because Anthony Woods is an absolutely elite running back for them. He's the leading rusher in the Big Sky. He had a touchdown game against Eastern Washington. He's a bad man. He's a tough dude to bring down. So, with the linebacker core, that's going to be a bit of a question mark. And then, we saw Montana State missing Lavelle Price, their starting nickelback last week. Don't know if he's going to be able to go this week, but you're going to need every coverage guy you possibly can going up against these wide receivers. Now, John Johnson, Defensive Player of the Week in the Big Sky this week, so he's going to step up. Can he continue to play well? True freshman Andrew Powdrell's been tremendous. Can he continue to play well against these big-bodied wide receivers? That's going to be really interesting to see. And then finally, staying on the defenses, we haven't seen the Bobcats bring a ton of pressure the last couple of weeks. One thing they've been able to do this year more than last year is bring some creative pressure because they have been able to cover a little bit better at the cornerback position and because Drew Polidor has really emerged as an elite free safety for them on top of the really solid play that strong safety Rylan Ort's been putting out there. So do we see some more creative pressure? Because we did see some holes in that offensive line for Idaho against Montana that were exposed, and we did see Giovanni McCoy struggle with some of that pressure. So can the Bobcats find a way to creatively bring pressure and get to McCoy before he lets that football go and it lands in the hands of some All-Americans?
Last question for you, Keaton, from me. This is a Montana State team that has big aspirations this year, clearly, and they should. With that win against Sac State, puts them in the driver's seat here in the Big Sky, especially if they get a win this weekend against Idaho. I want to go back to week 2, 20-16. It felt like you were right there with SDSU. A couple of plays here, a blade of grass, really, on that last play is all that is the difference on that could have been touched on that got called back, losing 20-16. But what did that do for the fan base and maybe even for the team a little bit of, okay, we beat SDSU once, but then we got beat bad by NDSU, and then we matched up with SDSU and got beat bad in the playoffs. Like, can we compete with those Dakota schools? What did that game tell the fan base and tell the team, you think?
Yeah, I think it told everybody, including the fan base and the entire nation, that the Bobcats can compete with those teams now. And that the only thing that stopped Brent Vigen in this program the last couple of years is the trenches against the Dakota State schools. That's it. And, we saw a big returning group on both sides. There weren't any big transfers in. There weren't any new names. Everybody on both sides of that offensive and defensive line were the same. And even for South Dakota State, that whole offensive line is the same. So there wasn't anything special. There wasn't anything fancy. It was who put the work in the weight room this offseason, who did it right, who did it efficiently. And, I think Montana State stood right there with them in the trenches. You don't need to dominate them in the trenches. You don't need to be like head and shoulders above. You just need to be good enough. You just need to be there. There's nowhere to go past those teams. So, I think they proved that they can, be there physically. They can meet the physicality in the trenches, and that's the most important thing. Because once you can do that, well, now we can talk about a real football game. Now we can talk about the X's and O's. Because if you're just getting pushed around, it's going to be a lopsided game. That's just the way it is. So then we got the opportunity to really see things play out. The other thing about that game, I think it was very much a week 2 game. Both teams made plenty of mistakes. Bobcats had 9 false starts in that game, including 7 false starts in the red zone. That certainly hurt them. Tommy Malott went out in that game in the third quarter on the first offensive possession of the second half. That obviously hurt things as well. And, it's a great game. It was a lot of fun. Great for the game of football. Great to find out where the Bobcats and where the Jackrabbits are. But when it comes down to it, there's 3 goals that Montana State has every single year. And in order is beat the Grizzlies, it's win a Big Sky championship, and win a national championship. And none of those 3 goals were in jeopardy in that game. So, yeah, you want to win that game. It was a blade of grass. We can talk about if we think that's a touchdown or not, but it doesn't really matter because it's in the past now. The Bobcats still have all of their goals in front of them. And if you want to accomplish those goals, they're going to tell you the most important thing to do is the game plan for Idaho this week, and that's kind of the way it's come full circle as we get into week 9.
Brick by brick, win by win, week by week. Yeah, that's the coach's speak right there for sure.
Coach Keaton.
Yeah, Coach Gillogly over here.
I talk to Vigen a lot, man. We got a lot of shows.
And we know what Vigen's saying, too. We are well aware of what I'm sure he's talking about over there in Bobcat country. Keaton, really appreciate the time, man. Been fun watching your guys' squad, and will be fun the rest of the way. Good luck with the call this Saturday.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate it. Hopefully the season runs a long, long time.
There you go. Keaton Gillogly, the play-by-play voice on the radio side from Montana State. It's a good team. It's a really good team. And didn't watch all of it, but watched enough of it, and especially that fourth quarter to say, that's a team that's got what it takes to get to Frisco and make an impact there. Built in the trenches, like you said. Quarterback run game is there. I question if you meet a team like an SDSU that can stop your run, do you have enough in the passing game? That'd be my one thing. Do you have enough there to make those plays when needed?
I agree. They had him. As Keaton was laying out, they had him in week 2.
Even before that touchdown that got called back, I mean, you had the lead, then you gave up 2 huge plays that you hadn't given up all game defensively. If you just don't make those,
yeah. No, I almost forgot about those 2 big plays when SDSU jumped back in front. Yeah, man.
And 9 false starts kills.
And the block punt that they had to settle for 3 instead of getting the
on the 1 yard line.
They're on the goal line. Yeah, the goal stripe, as Paul Allen would like to say. Yeah, very interesting. And we got to take a break here in a second, but we can get into the next segment. There's a lot that happened in FCS. We got to get into UND getting blanked against UNI. And we got to get into USD playing close with the Sycamores of Indiana State, all that good stuff. There was a lot.
And I got one other that was a sneaky upset that I don't think many people are talking about on a once top 10 ranked team that will no longer be in the Andy Rickoff top 15.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this. Good tease. Good tease. All right, well, we're going to take a timeout. But before we do that, we would like to remind you that all of our game week coverage this week
is
presented by Rush River Seed and Chemical.
Those guys, yes.
Rush River Seed and Chemical with locations in Amenia, Hunter, and Leonard, and now in Minot. Rush River is a premier distributor of the only major seed company headquartered in the U.S., Pioneer. Pioneer A-Series Enlist soybeans continue to be number 1 with more herbicide flexibility than any other soybean on the market. With chemical applications labeled through R2 or up to potting, you can control weeds later and with less restriction than other herbicide systems. But Pioneer isn't satisfied. They continue to innovate through substantial R&D investments in North Dakota, breeding, testing, and scoring in local growing conditions across our state to develop elite genetics from both a trait and yield perspective. Rush River Seed and Chemical, a local premier Pioneer Seed sales rep, is proud to offer this industry-leading technology and seed innovation. Stop by Rush River Seed locations in Amenia, Hunter, Leonard, and now in Minot, and plant the best in 2024. Plant Pioneer Seed. Learn more at rushriverseed.com.
Appreciate Rush River Seed. We'll hear from them this week.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to get into some FCS, as we were talking about. There's a lot to get to, and as Andy mentioned, one team that was highly ranked in the top 10, not going to be there any longer. That's coming up next on The Insiders.
The most complete Bison coverage in the region. Your Bison Nation station.
You are deep in thought, which is always dangerous.
Bison 1660.
The Proceed Right Choice program, where every seed is a step towards your dream rewards. Buy your favorite high-yielding Proceed varieties and watch your rewards grow. With Proceed, you not only get top-notch seeds, but you also get a chance to earn incredible rewards towards Delta Vacations, firearms, Shields gift cards, and personal co-branded apparel with your farm name, a symbol of your success. Visit Proceed.net to learn more about the Right Choice program today.
Want to travel easier? At Homewood Suites by Hilton Fargo, it's easier than ever to travel and stay with Hilton Honors. What if I told you you could check in, choose the exact room with a view you wanted, and unlock the hotel room door, all from your phone? Hilton Honors app makes it possible to do all that, but also book your perfect stay, order your favorite items to have ready when you get there, and you can even use digital checkout when it's time to leave. Traveling made easier with Homewood Suites by Hilton Fargo. Download the Hilton Honors app today.
Luther Family Ford works hard every day to give the community the best customer service in all their departments. The sales team is always ready to help, and they are delighted to have a great selection of new Ford trucks and SUVs on the lot. They invite you to stop by for a test drive. You'll enjoy working with the sales department, service department, and parts. Or, if you are thinking of selling your current vehicle, they will pay cash for it. Visit with their sales staff today or shop online, lutherfamilyford.com.
This season, the NDSU Bison have added a new recruit to the lineup. This new player is smooth and cold as ice. It's a refreshing start to the new football season, but this player is only available for a limited time. It's the NDSU Bison commemorative Bud Light cans. decked out with Bison pride, these cans feature the colors and helmet of the herd. Bison fans, grab these special limited edition Bud Light Bison cans now at your favorite liquor store. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Bison.
Build your career at Bobcat. Bobcat Gwinner is now hiring assemblers, material handlers, and welders, offering a $5,000 relocation bonus. Bobcat Wahpeton is now hiring assemblers and CNC machinists. CNC machinists will receive a $2,000 sign-on bonus, $5,000 relocation bonus to those who qualify, and on-the-job training. Apply in person on October 25th from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the job fair at the Fargo corporate office, located right off I-94 in West Fargo. Learn more at bobcat.com/now hiring.
Here's your Red River Valley weather update on Bison 1660.
Monday in the Fargo-Moorhead area is going to be partly sunny with high temperatures nearing 61 degrees. There's a 30% chance of showers after 1 p.m. Wind gusts can get as high as 20 miles an hour. Chance of rain bumps up to 50% Monday night. It'll be mostly cloudy with temperatures dropping to 37 degrees. Wind gusts getting as high as 30 miles an hour.
This weather update brought to you by Brady's Service Center. With donuts, breakfast, and lunch items daily, Brady's Service Center is your one-stop shop for all your automotive and road trip needs.
2 hours of sports talk every weekday, 11 to 1.
Well. Oh, my gracious.
Now, let's get back to the insiders.
I want to say that Vern, do you know what highlight that Vern call is? Vern Lundquist.
That's Masters, I believe.
Is it Masters?
I wasn't really paying attention. I was more listening to the
Next
music.
time it
but it was
plays,
like,
then.
have you ever? Yeah, that's the Tiger Woods.
No.
Oh.
Was that the Tiger? The In Your Life Tiger?
Yeah.
Maybe that was.
In your life.
Yeah, he did say it, but he said, "Oh my gracious." I don't know if that was the same one or not.
I believe so.
It might have been. We'll have to look it up. Anyway, love Uncle Vern. He's the best.
Iconic.
Love Uncle Vern. The best of the best. We love Uncle Vern, and we also love Bison football. And if you love Bison football like we do, you're going to love this. Introducing the Bison credit card, featuring cashback rewards and no annual fee, only available at First Western Bank of Trust, and the Bison. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I got a hefty seat stat of the day for you. Would you like that one here on a Monday, 12/26? How about
I would love that.
Game 7 coming up tonight. Rangers and Astros. The Rangers won, I believe, 9-2 yesterday. Framber Valdez has been getting lit up in the playoffs. The Twins got him in Game 2 in that series as well. He's been beat twice by the Rangers here in this series, so he has not been great for him. Adolis Garcia hit a home run. His previous 4 at-bats, he had struck out. Becomes the first player in MLB postseason history to hit a home run after striking out 4 times earlier in the game. He was obviously the player that got hit in game number 5, started a little bit of a pushing match, let's be honest about what that ended up being. Brouhaha that woke the Astros up before Altuve hit that
that was incredible, by the way.
Phenomenal. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I hate it because I just can't stand him. But that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
As clutch as it gets.
25 career postseason home runs for Altuve, I believe the number is.
Yeah.
Dude's Hall of Fame. That's Hall of Fame.
I can't argue with it. You can say, oh, he's a cheater. Well, yeah, but he's kept doing it since.
Yeah.
He's not cheating anymore. We hope so. And then one more for tonight. How about, we haven't talked any Vikings. Come on. Ian's got the Skulls shirt on back there. Vikings 49ers tonight. Christian McCaffrey has a streak that will end tonight. Christian McCaffrey enters Monday night tonight, having scored a touchdown in 15 straight games, including the playoffs, tied for the second longest streak in NFL history. Want to guess the longest streak and when it was and who it was? You'll never guess it, but you want to?
Well, it sounds like I don't want to if I don't know.
Probably
who it was.
not. Ian wouldn't either, so I'll say it. How about from 1963 to 1964, a streak of 17 straight games by the one and only Lenny Moore.
Oh. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Well done, Lenny. Lenny Moore comment. That's all I got for you.
Yeah.
It's after seat stat of the day. It's a pretty good stat.
Yeah, it is.
Second longest streak in NFL history. Lenny Moore, though. 1963 to 64. Well done.
Well done,
Christian
my friend.
McCaffrey's running it down, Lenny. But, Lenny, you can pop the champagne because the Vikings going to keep him out of the end zone tonight. Right, Ian?
You hope.
I hope so. It's kind of one of those things where you're playing with house money. Everyone thinks you're going to lose. And if you do lose, you get one step closer to Drake May or your next quarterback. And if you win, you're kind of back in the hunt. So it's, let's just go out and everyone have fun.
Shock the world. If you're 3. Yeah, just everyone have fun.
Right.
If they do win and get the 3 and 4, then it's like the schedule lessens up a little bit. Detroit just got killed. So.
Yeah, Green Bay next
Yeah,
week.
Green Bay lost to Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're feeling a little better if you're the Vikings tonight. That game, What's the line? Where is it at right now? It's 7 still.
Still 7?
Still 7. I think they'll draw within a score. I don't think they're going to win. I do think that they cover the 7.
The Vikings find a way to make it a one-score game.
Oh, yeah.
Whether they're good or bad, they find a way.
We were saying that, too. Chris Hansen and I were talking earlier. The Vikings, they've played better in their losses than they have in the 2 wins. The Bears game, they're basically one scoop and score was the difference in that. And, Fields, who knows if Fields doesn't get hurt. And Carolina was an ugly one, too.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And if Andy Dalton plays in that Carolina game, I bet you the Vikings would have lost it rather than Bryce Young. He's just inexperienced at this point.
Very much so.
They're also 0-3 at home. So it'd be nice to get a home win, not to get embarrassed at home. Last of the Bucks, the Chargers, and the Chiefs all at home so far.
I remember if we rewind this show like 2 months ago, which seems crazy, right? Because it's already October 23rd. Before the season, we were saying, Bucks are coming to town, easy 1-0 start, right? Baker Mayfield. It's a Cody Mauch homecoming. That's what we're going to be focusing on. So much has happened since then.
Yeah, the Bucks lost to Atlanta, though. So now the Falcons in first place.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Baker Mayfield, a bad pick.
4-3 now. Yeah, Ritter overcame a couple of turnovers, and here we are. That NFC South is just ugly again. Ugly.
Always is.
Yeah. First to 9. First to 9 wins gets it done. I was hoping that, Derek Carr did not look good on Thursday night either for the Saints.
Nope.
It was almost like famous Jameis time. It
was basically just get the ball to Alvin. Just snap it to Alvin Kamara.
Check it to Alvin Kamara.
That's what it was.
Check it to Alvin Kamara. That's exactly what it was. But we're here on the Insiders, 12:30 on a Monday. Tons happened in the FCS over the weekend, Andy. I don't know how we went 90 minutes into the show without mentioning it. UND gets blanked. They did the classic Bison hangover loss after beating NDSU for the first time in 20 years. UND goes to the Unidome for the first time since 2006. They take on Northern Iowa, and they lay an absolute egg. 27-zip, the final score in that game. UND falls to 4-3 on the season, and they come back down to earth after they were partying and dancing in the streets after the Bison win just a week ago at this time.
So we talked about Brian Shawn, right? Now you got to take this thing on the road, and can you get off of the emotional high, the emotional top of the mountain feeling you had when you beat NDSU? And me and Chris Hansen talked about it on Bison Hotline. Someone forgot to tell Bubba and the boys up north that there's more games than that one. The season did not end, believe it or not, in that game. And the unfortunate part is, for UND, they had something to lose. Before, it's been like, okay, you've been building something, nice story, okay team, you'll be playing in the first round, but, good season. Now it was you win that game against UNI, you've got yourselves in great position to control your own destiny for a top 8 seed. You've got to win against NDSU, or you got SDSU, you've played them already. If you could get that win, I believe they have USD on the schedule later on.
They would have controlled their own destiny for the bye.
Have it.
Yeah, they would have.
Then you lose, and not just lose, but get blanked and look overmatched. Now you're back to, okay, you had a great win, and that is your biggest win in program history in a long time, but they had something to lose there. So that was surprising to me. I thought that UND team was really good. We've been saying for a couple of years they just haven't been able to take it on the road, and now you see they still can't take it on the road right now.
No, Schuster got picked for the first time this season. He went 17-28 for $164. They could not run the ball in this game. That was the difference. They ran for over 200 against the Bison. They were held to 15 yards rushing when you factor in the sacks stat, which I've always thought needs to change in college football. But if you take away the sacks, they would have gotten 76, but still, it would have been just like barely 3 yards a carry.
That's kind of what they are for the most part. Like, they're an okay running team, not a great running team. So, UNI's defense, they're a tricky team to figure out because last year defense was awful. So coming into this year, all like, okay, this is an offensive team. And then the offense started to struggle, and the defense was playing better. So hard to get a grasp week to week of what UNI is. But when they're desperate, when they're desperate, they're tough.
And they are, Andy, and they kind of go as day goes. When he doesn't turn the ball over, they do fine. He did not do that. He had 2 touchdowns, 239 through the air. They got a big day on the ground from the running back as well, and that helped their cause. They win 27-0. The other one that happened over the weekend was USD. We had our eyes on that game before the Bison game kicked off. South Dakota was playing at Indiana State, going to lovely Terre Haute. I saw our USD guys Jay Elson, John Thayer, all of them enjoyed my hometown of Indianapolis on Friday night, so I'm glad they got to enjoy that before going to Terre Haute on Saturday. That game was 3-3 at one point. South Dakota ultimately wins 17-3, but it's South Dakota is supposed to be a top 10 team, right? A top 5 team, and they didn't quite look like it on Saturday against the worst team in the Valley at the moment, not named Western Illinois and Indiana State. So, were they looking ahead? Probably, because they've got the Jacks in the Dakota Dome this week.
100% they were looking ahead. Same thing Northern Iowa when Northern Iowa played Indiana State, and the Sycamores actually outgained them on the ground and through the air in total yardage. But UNI barely got the win there because UNI was looking ahead, on the schedule too. So it just goes again to prove you, Indiana State's always been one of those bottom teams in the conference, other than a year or two here or there. But you just can't overlook them. They're a team that can be tricky sometimes, and USD found that out. Still got the win. That's really all that matters. And no one's going to remember that game one iota if USD were to beat SDSU this week. It sounds like game day is not there. They're going to be
Utah.
Going
to Utah.
Utah, Oregon. They're in Salt Lake City. But man, that would have been a crazy scene in Vermillion. It's still going to be a phenomenal game, and I bet you they give a little bit of a nod towards that game, have it in the picks or some sort of quick segment on a top 5 matchup in South Dakota.
Yeah, one of the rejoins where they get the big full screen graphic on game day. Yeah, South Dakota is a number 4 team in the FCS in the latest top 25. SDSU unanimous number 1, Montana State number 2, Furman, which beat Western Carolina in a huge tilt of 2 SoCon leaders. They are number 3 at 6-1. USD is number 4, Delaware number 5, Sac State dropped to 6, Montana 7, Incarnate Word 8, Idaho 9, Western Carolina 10. You want to talk about one of those teams that's in there that you mentioned before the last break?
Yeah, I mean, Furman moving to 3 is good. That Furman-Western Carolina game, give both teams a little bit of credit. That was a lot lower scoring than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, defense.
I thought that was a 38, 41, mid-40s possibly type of game, and I said I'd pick Furman because I think their defense is just slightly better than Western Carolina's, and they might be able to get the Catamounts off a time or two, and they were able to do that, but a lower scoring game than I thought it would be. Western Carolina will be fine. They'll be a playoff team, more than likely here. I don't think they should lose again on their schedule. And I think Furman's got one more here against Chattanooga that could be a slip-up still, so that's one to watch with Furman. Because if they lost to Chattanooga, then all 3 of those teams would have lost, and who knows? I don't think any of them would be a top 8 seed then at that point. But Furman with a nice win there. They deserve to be up in that top 4 kind of discussion. Delaware continuing to climb up. I was surprised Sacramento State didn't drop maybe just a little bit more. I know it's obviously Montana State. You didn't lose to a bad team there. Montana right behind them as well. North Dakota State 12, North Dakota 15 was an interesting kind of flip-flop with those 2 schools. What happened here over the weekend. And Southern Illinois still right there at 11, also very interesting. I don't think Incarnate Word, at 8, they're not impressive. Nothing there. And they're not going to face anyone that's really that impressive on their schedule either. But you texted me on Saturday like they were down big to McNeese. And it's just Incarnate Word I don't think is a top 10 team this year. They've had so much turnover. It's hard to do that every year, and I don't think they are. But the team I was teasing before the break that was a top 10, I think even a top 5 team by many people's accounts going into the season, slowly kind of been moving back, but we've just been basically putting them in the top 10 or just outside the top 10 as a courtesy to them because they're probably going to win their league. Out of the top 10, out of the top 15 for me as well, and I don't even see them in the top 25 on the latest Stats FCS poll here. So they're out of the top 25 as a whole because they lost to Lafayette. That'd be Holy Cross.
Yeah.
Holy Cross loses 38-35 to Lafayette. Lafayette, not a bad team. They're 6-1. It was a game I talked about on Bison Game Day with our good friend Courtney Mitchell, who was on that, did a fantastic job. They were 6-1. They were 1-0 in the Patriot League. Holy Cross was 2-0, and I said, that's one to watch. Lafayette you never know, and they're a good team. And Holy Cross has been a little suspect, and again, the defense just not getting that job done. Sluka, 330 yards and 3 touchdowns, but 38-35, Holy Cross out, and now they are definitely not in the driver's seat in the Patriot League, and they will not be getting an at-large bid. Not going to happen.
Yeah, that's a tough one for Bob Chesney's group. Sluka, an absolute Iron Man. That was a D1 record that he set with 330 yards rushing for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Incredible Herculean performance, but yeah, credit to Lafayette, and Holy Cross has been one of the biggest disappointments this year from a national landscape. They had the tough one against BC, This one against Lafayette, tricky, and they had the one against Harvard too. So, that's going to you're right. That could have been severe damage out of one bid area of the country there in the Northeast for the FCS bracket.
See, like if they had beaten Boston College and not slipped up against Harvard, you'd be saying, well, maybe auto bid still. But now you just, with a loss to Harvard, and you don't have that FBS win to fall back on against Boston College, they're not going to be an at-large bid at all. I wouldn't think out of that league with the strength of schedule. And Lafayette's in that driver's seat now. Doesn't mean that's how it's going to go, but Lafayette now is that team that's probably going to be on the borderline top 15. Holy Cross is out, and I believe Lafayette is in the top 25 now. I just looked. They're at 21, so they've moved into it.
Yeah. Let me tell you this. I've been saying this a lot. The forecast, the last 4 games here, this is it. Buckle up, Bison fans. This is it. There's going to be some interesting twists and turns to the next 4 weeks to close out this football season for NDSU. So the Bison check in at 12 in the current top 25 of the FCS right now. With UND losing, they go down to 4-3. With UNI winning, they go up to 4-3.
They're in at number 23 now.
Yep. You look at UND's schedule, they've got Indiana State at home. You would assume they win that game, so they're 5-3. They go to Murray State. Let's say they win that game, they're 6-3. And then they close out the year with South Dakota and Illinois State. USD is on the road, and then Illinois State is at home. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, they split.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at a 6-4, right? 7-4, rather, to end the regular season.
4 losses is tricky. There's usually a 4-loss team that feels that they should be in that gets left out somewhere along the way. We've even said that about NDSU, okay, worst case scenario, what if you finish with just with 4 losses? Will that get you in? I think for NDSU it does. For some teams, though, it always seems like there's one that gets left out. 4 is a tough spot to be, especially if the Valley's going to get 5 or 6 teams in.
That's what I'm saying, so stick with me here. Northern Iowa at Illinois State versus Western Illinois at Missouri State. Those are 2 guaranteed wins. They could lose to Illinois State, which would put them back at 4-4. But we know they're going to win the next 2, so they will be 6-4 bare minimum going into the regular season finale against NDSU. UND, if they played out the rest of their schedule, they'll probably be at 7-4. The Bison, right now at 5-2, looking to get to 6-2. Let's just say they lose to the Jacks 6-3. Beat Southern Illinois, hold serve at home 7-3. They could be 7-3 going into the final weekend against a 6-4 UNI team, with UND also likely being 6-4, and that basically makes that UNI game, depending on the rest of the at-large situation. They got 14 spots up for grabs. Depending on it, you do not want to lose that game, because if you lose that game, then you're tied with those 2 teams, UNI and UND, with 4 losses, and they both have the head-to-head over it.
And that's tough because SDSU, USD, those 2 teams are in, right, out of the Valley. At this point, it looks like those 2 are definitely going to be in. You assume, what's the Southern's record? What could Southern get to? Look up their schedule, too, because
that is a great question.
Is another one.
Yeah.
I think NDSU can beat them at the Fargo Dome, but at home, they're tough. And they just played SDSU really, really tough. Kind of were in that game, definitely held down the Jacks' rushing attack. So Southern Illinois this week, who they got?
This week they're at Western.
Yep, so that's a win.
So they will move up 6-2, then home to USD.
And that's a huge game.
That's a huge game. They get them at home. Those are 2 good defenses. The one thing I will say about USD, and even though they almost flopped against Indiana State, their defense is the best part of their team. Mogensen.
A low-scoring game there.
Yeah, it could be like a 1st to 20 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gaze, the defensive lineman, Shorter, why am I blank? Harden, the corner, who they think might play in the NFL. They've got a good defense, USD.
I feel like USD is going to lose one of those games somewhere that's like a really tough Valley game.
Well, here you go.
So
the
SDSU.
SIU's last 4 are Western, USD, the Bison, and Indiana State. There's 2 guaranteed wins on there.
Mm-hmm.
So Southern Illinois at minimum is going to be
7-2.
Yep.
If you lose those other ones, then you're 7-4.
You're 7-4. If you split it, you're at 7.
The Bison would have the head-to-head tiebreaker over them if they're 7-4. If they win Indiana State and Western, but you lose NDSU and USD, the Bison would have the tiebreaker. It's going to be difficult. That's what we're saying, is that at the end there, that Northern Iowa game could have a lot of meaning. There's still a lot of games. Northern Iowa's lost a game you think they should win before. That could really kind of make this argument not important. But you could get to the end of the season where NDSU is 7-3, Northern Iowa is 6-4. If you lose that game and Northern Iowa wins it, then both of you are 7-4. UND could be 7-4. Southern Illinois could be 7-4.
That's where head-to-heads are going to come in.
They're not taking 6 Valley teams when 4 of them are all 7-4. Probably that's just going to be really difficult.
I think the Bison would get the benefit of the doubt over Southern, assuming they have the head-to-head there.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't have the head-to-head against, say, UNI and UND, I think they would get and Southern would be able to one with the short end of the stick. Just given that they drop a couple later than they did earlier. It's going to be a roller coaster. Yeah, hairy is the right word.
I'd like to say, they're just going to be head-to-heads all around, so USD or UND and Northern Iowa get in because they beat the Bison, and the Bison get in because they beat Southern. But I don't know, did Southern beat UND, or did Southern beat... So the head-to-head's going to get really, really tricky on how that would work. You might have to go more into some other tiebreakers, too.
Yeah, it's going to get crazy, but the message being for these next 4 weeks...
Take your business.
Get ready.
Mm-hmm.
Get ready, because it's coming. This is going to be an interesting end of the season. 701-476-1660. Last call for any phone calls as we wrap up the show here on a Monday. We're going to have Sam Herder on board Tuesday, tomorrow, and he should be able to help us sort out everything that we just kind of went through and talk about some of the results for the weekend. Big FCS weekend. Good college football talk here for you on the Insiders. As always, we're with you until 1. We're going to take one more time out and be back with you to wrap up the show after this.
Bison Nation, your exclusive home for North Dakota State Athletics. Bison 1660.
No matter where you work, whether it's at your kitchen table or in the office, you need to collaborate with your team. ProConnect from Consolidated Communications makes it happen. You'll never miss a call when you can answer from your desk phone, laptop, or cell phone. And you can communicate instantly using real-time messaging. Confidently connect with customers over secure video conferencing and work together to create and share documents. Get ready to connect, collaborate, and communicate brilliantly. Choose ProConnect, your team collaboration tool from Consolidated Communications.
Prices on many ag chem inputs have never been cheaper. I'm Darren Hefty with Hefty Seed Company. If you're considering making herbicide applications this fall or want to stock up for next season, now is the time. Buying at all-time lows is usually a pretty safe investment, and low prices mean more options for effective control of weeds, insects, and diseases. In fact, it's likely you can get better products now with more modes of action at higher rates for less than what you paid this past spring. To learn more, visit with your local Hefty agronomist today.
DRI, formerly Dakota Refrigeration, and DRI Electrical Services is celebrating our 50th year. From dining room to training room, milk to medicine, ice to ice cream, DRI is your full-service source for your refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical needs. Located in Fargo, Bismarck, and Minot, online at dakref.com. DAKREF.com. Or call us toll-free at 1-800-433-1665. 1-800-433-1665.
Just like the Bison are good at football, TNT Seamless Gutters are good at seamless gutters, soffit, and fascia repairs. The team at TNT Seamless Gutters have over 40 years of experience. And just like the Bison, they'll travel anywhere to give you a free quote. You can call Todd direct at 701-566-2550 or follow TNT Seamless Gutters on Facebook. If your gutters show signs of water damage, then you need to call Todd at TNT Seamless Gutters, 701-566-2550.
Cullen Insulation is dedicated to quality from start to finish, so you have nothing to worry about all year long when it comes to your residential or commercial project. As your local Owens Corning certified energy expert, Cullen Insulation will help make your home quiet, comfortable, and energy smart. Simple home insulation solutions that improve the way you live every day. Cullen Insulation, online at culleninsulation.com. That's culleninsulation.com.
For over 40 years, Jiffy Lube of Fargo has been making life easy. No appointment is ever needed. Drive up, pull in, and get the signature service oil change from your Jiffy Lube certified technician. Plus, they'll top off fluids, vacuum the floors, wash the windows, inflate your tires to proper pressure, and get you back on the road. Jiffy Lube of Fargo also performs a courtesy inspection of your vehicle's filters, wiper blades, and all exterior lights to get your vehicle in tip-top shape. 3 locally owned and operated locations in the area. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more in a jiffy.
Sun Butter is the maker of delicious sunflower butters the whole family can enjoy. It's free of the top 8 food allergens, including peanuts, tree nuts, soy, and dairy. Grown in the tri-state area and produced locally at Red River Commodities in Fargo. Sun Butter, simple ingredients, delicious flavor.
Having trouble finding quality auto coverage? Good service and opportunities to save on your premium? Your Nodak insurance agent has the perfect answer. You'll appreciate our exceptional service, along with our 10% discount just for deducting your monthly premium from your checking account. Service, convenience, and savings without sacrificing any protection. Go to NodakINS.com. Find your local agent, and they'll take care of the rest. After all, we're the agents with answers.
Attention, attention! Are you a plumbing journeyman or apprentice? We want you! The region's fastest growing heating, cooling, and plumbing contractor, Valley Service Mechanical, is looking for journeymen and apprentices, and we're hiring immediately. We offer competitive pay, incentives, and a fun team to work with. If you're not happy where you're at, we'll make it worth your time to check out why you should join the Valley Service Mechanical team. It's easy to apply online today at valleyservice.net. Just click the red banner. That's valleyservice.net.
Missed portions of today's show? Go to Bison1660.com to listen to the podcast or find us on Facebook and Twitter at Bison1660.
31 at the 38. High formation. Peyton gives to Marshall. Running off left tackle. Breaks into the clear. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Broke a tackle. Touchdown. Bison. TK Marshall with the hat trick here at home inside the Fargo Dome. His 3rd rushing touchdown of the game. He breaks loose. 38-yard strike. And the Bison cash in on their opening possession of this 3rd quarter. It's TK with the TD to make it 44-0.
Got to change the name now.
I was going to say, it's
TK to TD.
TD Marshall.
He was TD Marshall on Saturday. TK Marshall, our Dakota Refrigeration cool player of the game. 3 touchdowns on 6 carries. That's what we call an efficient day at the office.
He had his first rushing touchdown of the season. I had a receiving touchdown before, but first rushing touchdown. Barika, first touchdown of the season. Raja, first touchdown in multiple seasons. A lot of firsts.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, it was good first because for the Bison, we had a lot of like first time since whatever, right?
Those stats have not been good stats lately.
First loss by this much since 2005, right? Yeah, so it was good to see that. And as I mentioned, too, I thought that was a positive. Like the 2 big points for me from the Bison game were, A, got a run game going in a traditional manner. I thought it was good. And as Phil told us, right, it doesn't matter as long as you're getting the production is good. But I do think you line up under center, you just hand the ball off. Your guys just go, right? The Rams could just go to work. It's not an RPO or zone read. It's a little different, right? You could just line up across and hit the guy in front of you and drive him back. And that's what we saw. They manhandled him. And then the other item, number 2, is the specials, right? The specials got to get tightened up here. That reverse would have worked if it weren't for the penalty, right? They were just one step ahead, right? They're running to the sideline where NDSU had gotten burned the week before on the Skokna kickoff. And then they reverse it, and it was there for the taking. So you got to credit Western with the scheme there. They did a nice job, and then the fake punt as well caught the Bison napping a little bit. So got to tighten those 2 things up. Those are the 2 main bullets as we wrap up discussion on this Western game in the Bison's 52-7 victory.
Still have not lost back-to-back games in a long, long time, though. Been very good.
No.
Off of a loss to be able to rebound, get yourself again off the mat, get back on your feet again, so you open up the show with, and get a win. No, it wasn't the great opponent. We're not saying it was. We're not taking. What can you take away from it? That's for everyone else to decide. But you still got the win. It's what you have to do here from here on out, basically.
That was a good song, by the way. I'm going to add it to my playlist. I can't believe that I had never heard of it.
Yeah, you'd never heard of that one.
Yeah,
and you kind of had like a little bit of older song. It's an older-ish song.
Yeah. That's like my kind of song. That's why I was kind of shocked you got that one on me. So
I thought you were just joking when you came in.
I was being dead serious. Yeah. Vikings Monday Night Football tonight against the Niners. We talked about it. Final thoughts before we get off here.
Level of confidence.
Can the Vikes get to 3-4? Let me set the stage a little bit. The San Francisco 49ers, back-to-back NFC championship game participant Niners, little banged up last week. Suffered a loss against Cleveland. Had a chance to win it with the Moody kick that was no good. Now they go to Minnesota, and the Vikings are at home. sitting 2-4 right now. Chance to get to 3-4 with some easier games coming down the pipe. Green Bay the week after this, not to look too far ahead, and still searching for their first win inside of U.S. Bank Stadium this season. They're going to have to find a way to do it without JJ, right? And find a way to do it against a San Fran team that obviously is terrific all around, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Is that all? It's an uphill battle.
Yeah, that's all the cards stacked
Christian
against you.
McCaffrey's playing. It sounds like Trent Williams is going to play too. Debo is out. That helps you, but the big thing here is trying to stop the running game. I just don't know if the Vikings are going to be able to. The Vikings have actually, outside of that one game against the Eagles, they've been very good at stopping the running game. But that game against the Eagles, you faced a great offensive line. Now you're facing a great offensive line and a great running back as well, and a great scheme, what Kyle Shanahan does with the running game. This is another one where I just feel like you're not going to be able to stop that ground and pound type of attack from the Niners. And I don't think the offense is going to be able to keep up. I'm probably about a 4 confidence level.
A 4.
4 confidence level.
A 4 is like you're not like 100% negative. Yeah.
But because the possibility is we just saw the Patriots, who were awful, beat the Bills. We saw the Giants beat the Commanders, who aren't great. But the Giants hadn't scored an offensive touchdown at home all year. An offensive touchdown. They did that, and they won a game 14-7. The Bears with a backup quarterback put up 30 on a bad team, but they put up 30 with a backup quarterback. Anything can happen.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy things happened all week long, college football, pro football. So, yes, anything can happen. And the Vikings are a capable team. So if you don't come out and do what you're supposed to do as the Niners, then you can be in for a dogfight. And they'll make it a close game. So maybe this time they don't fumble it or they get a bounce to go their way. And if they win it, then they're in pretty good spot because the schedule is winnable for the next couple of months. But I'm not confident they're going to win this one. I'm not confident
that they'll win. I'll say mine is a 5.
Okay.
Because I do think they'll make it close, as is Viking custom this season. But come up on the short side. It just seems like the Vikes have been paying karma back after last year winning all the one-score games. And you mentioned stopping the run. I think that's key too. My thing is, can you protect Kirk? Give him ample time in this game. I think that's going to be a tall task, too. Ian, your final thoughts on the Vikes and your confidence level for tonight.
All right. I'm a believer tonight. I think Jordan Addison's going to have like a $125 and a touchdown. My only ask tonight is let's stop with the Alexander Madison touches. Let's not force him the ball 20 times this game. He's just not efficient as a runner. I actually did see, Andy, after you said that the scoreline go up, that Trent Williams is not going to play. Maybe expect a big night from a Danielle Hunter. Maybe gets 2.5 sacks, continues his pursuit as the leading sack leader. I'm a believer. My confidence level is at about an 8. I'm an optimist at heart. Let's go, baby. We're going to win today. We're going to win next week, and then we're going to beat the Raiders, and we're going to be back in the hunt. Let's do it.
Oh, my gosh.
Love it.
Wow, Ian's rallying. I'm glad I had you go last, Ian. Yeah.
You got me. I'm back at a 6. I just went from a 4 to a 6. Trent Williams being out is huge.
You got to believe.
Big protector for Brock Purdy and the lead blocker in a lot of their big runs usually. So that is big. He was supposed to be a game-time decision. I guess that decision's being made well before the game. But that's huge. There we go. Skol Vikes. Woo!
Vikings.
I'm feeling good.
Niners, 7:15 local, ABC, ESPN. Niners a 7-point favorite. We're going to break it down tomorrow.
Who we got in Game 7 tonight?
I'm gonna go with my heart. My head says Astros. I'm gonna go Rangers.
I'm going Rangers too. Astros have not been good at home, but they got the experience. Ian?
I'm also going Rangers.
Okay, we're Rangers sweep.
All right. Congratulations to the Astros.
Astros are going to play this conversation back when they win tonight.
Yes.
Probably.
Bison 16-60. That's playing in the clubhouse as we speak.
Sure should be. And then Matt Entz press conference today, 2 o'clock.
Yeah, so we got it in about an hour for you. Coach Entz at the podium. You can listen to it live here on Bison 1660. Also have the Bison Football Radio Show with Coach tonight, 6:30 to 8. Coach joins at 7. So all kinds of Bison football stuff for you as we get you home on a Monday.
Boom.
Boom. Good job, fellas. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. This has been The Insiders. See you at 11 a.m. Mañana.
E.W. Wiley is more than a trucking company. We're a family. We work for small customers up to Fortune 500 companies across the lower 48 in Canada, from right here in Fargo, where we've been operating for over 85 years. We prioritize safety, collaboration, and success while taking on all challenges the Wiley tough way. E.W. Wiley is here to work for you for the long haul. Visit us at wileytrucking.com.
stock up on all your favorites for watching Bison football this season? Well, the Spirit Shop has you covered with a great selection of beer, wine, and spirits at the best prices, plus great weekly specials. The Spirit Shop off 13th Avenue in